Here we go. The Red Pill Phone Tap. Welcome back, everybody, to Lucky Episode 7. I am Wesley, joined by
Anthony in the house.
Anthony is in the house.
We are back at it.
We were patting ourselves on the back last week, Anthony, about how much we were starting to feel comfortable about our podcast coming together, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as we gave ourselves a compliment, I think we got a little
too comfortable.
Yeah, because we hit a topic we really wanted to hit hard, dating 101. And in our defense, this is a very, very big topic, and we did not come to the table as organized as we are now.
Right.
Dating
has so many layers to it,
especially in 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so many different avenues and different ways you can date in 2019 that it's impossible to cover in one segment of a show.
But don't worry, Anthony and I, we have got our we have got our bearings. And episode 7, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the Dating 101 episode. The entire podcast is going to be about dating, and we're going to be giving you some specifics on what to do. This isn't going to be theories or generalities or just broad strokes. These are going to be very specific skills that can help you right after you listen to this podcast.
And we're being more specifically towards men.
Yes.
So, ladies, you can feel out on this one, where we're not going to be discussing how to date for you, but understand these strategies that we've come up with is pretty much a compilation of a lot of things that we learned through our own experience, things that we've read, and
hundreds and hundreds of pages we've read about dating.
Because dating is a niche in the economy that people can make money off of, because so many people don't know how to do it.
And a lot of these motherfuckers are lonely.
Yes.
They're very lonely.
There's a lot of people lonely, men and women, both. And we all are trying to figure this out, or figure it out on our own, or trying to figure it out together amongst friends. And the most interesting topics in all groups across social media is dating.
Yeah. This show, the Red Pill Phone Tap, here at Navigation Studios, this show is borderline obsessed with intersexual studies. And a big part of intersexual studies is going to be about dating. We do have some things we have some groundwork we're going to have to set up first.
Yeah.
But then we are going to spend the next 3 hours giving you step-by-steps how to approach this. We talked on the phone today, Anthony, about we always know this guy or gal. It's mostly guys that I hear. Look, man, I'm not here to play games, okay? I'm a nice guy. I just want a good woman. All right, all of you people have got to get that phrase out of your head. We're going to help you with this episode, but you cannot skip seduction. It cannot be skipped. Okay?
And seduction is way more involved than just bedroom.
Right.
Seduction begins as you're introducing yourself.
The first moment you ever open any kind of communication with this person, seduction has started.
Yes.
And you cannot skip it. You can't.
Nope.
Okay? We were talking about this today. All the people that say, look, man, I don't want to play games. that person wants to skip seduction, and they now want to go to bartering.
Yes.
I want a girl because I'm fucking lonely, and I want sex. So if I'm a good guy, I want the girl, and I'm not here to play games, man.
You can hear the frustration in this guy's voice. He's like, I haven't had sex in so long, and I'm
so I don't want to play games. I just want my sex, man.
Get me to the sex part.
I just want a girlfriend. And they almost, when they say this, I don't want to play games thing, they're saying it like they're giving someone good news.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, women, and this isn't, a lot of times women are not conscious of the fact that they love playing games. But some women are. I've talked to women that are like, I don't know, man. I love the game of the whole. I love the drama of all of this. It makes me feel like I'm in my own reality show and I'm Kim Kardashian.
It depends where you at, though. Like, there's me and you talked about this too before, where there's this part of the game where you're like, I played this game a lot this year. I'm ready for a break. I don't want to entertain no more hoes out here, man.
So for our listeners, the reason I'm laughing is because I remember when Anthony was in the thick of like really learning, you know, and getting down his dating game very, very well. And he had just been really, really deep in the sport of dating. And I was on the phone with him and I was like, so, you know, who you seeing now? You know, have you moved anybody new into the rotation? And he's like, man, I just need a break. And I'm like, oh man, what? And you just cut me off mid sentence. Like, I'm tired of entertaining these hoes. I'm tired of entertaining these hoes.
It's a lot of work, man.
And you had not one drop of humor. Like you were so serious. You're like, I'm tired of entertaining these hoes. And I mean, because you were just very sincere. You're like, God damn, this. I've been bogged down by the game. It's been very thick. And I'm going to tell you, Anthony and I were talking about this week, watching an AMS video. If you don't know, AMS is a channel on YouTube. It stands for Alpha Male Strategies. The host AMS is he runs a great show. Go check him out. It's a fantastic channel. But he was talking about how he would show, you know, he's a handsome guy. He's got obviously great game because he has a channel where he teaches guys all about dating game. And he talks about that's a lot of the times that I, you know, let people listen to my phone calls. And I want them to see that even for a handsome guy that's really, really good at game, really tall guy, it's a lot of shit you have to put up with. So I want you to understand before we even get into this, fellas, this never stops. And it doesn't stop when you get a girlfriend or a wife either. You've got to be on your game even more then.
Yeah, that's a total different game.
Totally different game. But this thing about...
It's actually even more work. It's so much accountability you have to go because there's so much more in that.
And it's one of those things, guys, where you know I always see because I've got a newborn daughter, and I always kind of look in her eyes when she sees something's hard for the first time. You know, the first time that she's like really trying to stand up on her own, you know, and she's kind of seeing like, man, this is hard. You know, my legs just got to hold up my body like forever. Oh my God, you know, and you can just see them be like, oh my God, this is hard. I'm like, yeah, boo, life's hard, man. This is just how it is. So I want you guys to kind of understand that this is never going to end, but don't worry. Similar to like my daughter's legs, you're just going to get stronger and you're just going to get used to it. You know, it's just, and you'll see as we go. Now, Anthony, you had a pretty good intro on this for people that just kind of want to show up and just, I don't know, let fate take me where it goes. I mean, I've seen a great romantic comedy. Boy meets girl, and then things get they get zany.
Yeah, you can't. This is not a storybook. There's no actual beginning. Once upon a time, and a boy meets a girl, and the girl likes a boy, and the boy saves a girl, and the girl falls in love, and happily ever after. It doesn't work like that, right? So I wanted to kind of like touch on things, how when you're out here dating and you're looking for something, there's something in mind that you're looking for, right? There's a certain type of woman you're looking for. You're not just running up on random chicks and like say, hey, you want to be in a relationship with me? You kind of have an idea of what this woman looks like, what she sounds like, what her persona is in some form or fashion, right? Just like when you're approaching and you're talking to her, you're not just guessing. You're not trying to just like, hey, let's just see what happens after I say hi. There's specifics into this. So
you had an analogy that I thought was
great.
I'm
gonna get into it.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I was gonna say, Wesley, when you're fighting, you're trained to fight, and you had workout goals. You had certain goals in mind. Like, what if we were to say dating and compare it to working out? How would you approach your workout? Would you just run into the gym, look around, look for the first open machine, and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go work on that"?
Looks like today is a calf day. No. Before you embark on any kind of workout program, you gotta say, what are my goals? My goal is to have huge arms. Then you gotta go now learn what exercises you've got to do. You've got to figure out how often do I do the exercises. You've got to figure out what foods are going to get me there faster.
Which muscles in your arm you need to work on, because you got more to your arms than just biceps, right? Mm-hmm. So and then when certain exercises you need to work on your shoulders.
Well, and then right? there's exercises that will it'll injure another part of your arm.
Exactly.
Yeah, your forearms can get injured by working out your triceps too much. This is all stuff you don't accidentally become this great bodybuilding physique guy. Right. It's very specific stuff you've got to do, and that's the exact same approach you have to dating.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to end up with some dumb hoe that you are going to be on, Maury Povich with one day.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to end up with a high-value woman. You're not going to end up with a dime or someone you're very, very attracted to. I was reading a book before I started dating my wife, and it's a book we talk about a lot, Being a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. And one of the things he says in the book is he's like, I want you to sit down. What does the girl look like? I mean, right. That's specific.
Right.
And I had always been really attracted to Asian girls. And all through high school, and Asian girls did not want, in my school at least, they did not want to date white guys. So I kind of had this feeling like I've always been attracted to Asian girls. I want to prove to myself that I can date an Asian girl. So for the next, you remember this time when I was dating.
Yeah.
All the girls I was dating were Asian.
Yeah.
There were a few here and there that weren't, but they were all Asian. I wanted that. I wanted to prove to myself, And then, of course, I met my wife, and this is what I really want to drive home to you guys as we go into this episode. I met my wife, who was, for me personally, was a unicorn. Okay, my wife and I can have conversations about the things we talk about on this show. My wife is a fan of the Red Pill Phone Tap, our show. She is one of those women that Anthony and I always say, how come women don't call out other women. My wife is that type of woman. Now, she's still a woman, so, and we'll kind of get more into that as the podcast goes on, how women react in the dating scene. But she's still a woman, but she's a unicorn for me, and this is what I want to drive home to you guys. What I don't want to happen to our listeners out there, if you're single and you're dating, I don't want you to meet your unicorn or meet a dime and you've never slept with a dime or dated a dime in your entire life and you're not ready and you mess it up. Because as we go through these steps, you're going to see how easy it is to mess all this shit up. And then, because here's the thing, man. Until you've slept with beautiful women before, guys, you can look in the mirror and give yourself all the positive affirmations you want. But until you've executed sleeping with beautiful women, you're not going to have the same confidence to be able to continue and grow and bloom and move forward. Okay? So I need you guys to pay close attention to the stuff we're going to talk about today. Anthony and I talked about dating a lot in our last podcast, but we wanted to put so I'm going to warn you, some of this stuff is going to be repeated from our last from our last podcast, our last phone tap, if you will.
Right.
But bear with us, guys, because we wanted this to be in one podcast. So if you want to go back and reference this so that you can kind of judge yourself and see, hey, how did I slip up here? How did I mess up there? I want you guys to have episode 7 is going to be all about this. Okay. We haven't quite hit the 20-minute mark yet, though.
Okay.
But anything else, Anthony, you wanted to say before we get into the specifics on dating?
Let me see. No, I wanted to cover some things that kind of prevents us from focusing on actually how to get to this point. Now, I just saw the Donovan Sharp conference and that he did in Orlando. He talked about how he became to the red pill, right?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to watch that.
That it just resonated with me well because we covered this in episode 6, where what brought me to the red pill, right?
Right.
It wasn't because everything in my dating life was going well.
But what I found interesting, it wasn't because it was going terribly.
Well,
either.
I could get women,
yeah,
but how I got those women mattered too, right? And what I wasn't taught as a young man on look how to vet women in the dating field, how to get to a point where I have boundaries where I can say no, or I don't have a scarcity mindset where I can't let this woman go. I just met her, we were going well, and now she's kind of pulling away, and now I got to chase her, right?
And stress.
Right.
Yeah.
And
more stress.
Think about it, guys. Every guy's been through this. Every guy's met a chick that they liked, they thought that was beautiful, fine, whatever, however you want to explain it. Everything was going well, and then all of a sudden, she started to pull away. And you're like, wait, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Now you start to panic. Now you try to overcompensate. And you start doing shit that you wasn't doing before. And now you were really chasing her away. And and even if you get her back, she now knows she got you wrapped around her little finger. And let's be honest, man, not a lot of women will not take advantage of a man that's willing to do anything for her. If she says she wants to go to a concert now and for some expensive tickets, you're gonna probably do that for her. because you don't want to see her pull away because she's attractive. And you know that she can get another guy walking out the door. So you're going to try to hold her close, and you're going to fail all these shit tests that she give you, and she's still going to cheat on you. She's still going to break up with you, and you're still going to end up in heartache, and you're going to be confused as to why, and then you're going to be upset, and you're going to commit the same exact mistakes moving forward with the next chick because you didn't know what went wrong. You didn't know why she pulled away. You don't know what you said wrong, what you texted wrong. What is she breaking up with me because I didn't pick up my phone? Is that really why she's breaking up with me? And you're like so confused, but yet this is why we're doing this. We're gonna go through these step by step, break it down, how to prevent these behaviors, and solidify yourself into a date or a how do you even call it? Because I don't want to call it a relationship.
Yeah, you don't want to call it a relationship, but I mean we can call it a dating cycle.
Yeah.
For sure. Because you want to be in charge of your own destiny.
The interaction,
and honestly,
yeah.
when we're talking to men on this show,
right?
You also want to be in charge of your destiny as a man in life,
of course.
And if you can master that, trust me, when Anthony and I share this with you, you will be able. When women see that you can do that, it's very much something that's very attractive to them.
Yes.
Okay. Women see that Drake controls his destiny. He's got money, power, respect in the game, all that good stuff, and that is a quality that's very attractive to him. You ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Number one, guys, we have to set a foundation. And the foundation for this, because we can't talk about this, we can't talk about dating without talking about a major piece to this, okay? And because this is going to come up every step of the way, we've got to pull it out and lay a solid foundation. You have to understand first what shit tests are, okay? Shit tests, gentlemen. Now, shit tests are when women are trying to see if you are who you are acting like you are. And what we mean more specifically is they're going to see, are you really a strong, confident man that's on his purpose? Because that's our goal for you. That's our goal for you. A strong, confident, alpha man that is chasing his purpose. Okay, this is something that's very, very attractive to women, and they are going to test you along the way. Now, Anthony, these ladies don't sit here at night. All right, I'm going to shit test Wesley tomorrow. So here's how I'm going to shit test. No, guys. So we're going to back up and tell you what a woman's worst fear is, and this is the software that she's running on. Okay, a woman's worst fear, especially when we lived in caves and in forests and in tree houses and all kind of stuff. A woman's worst fear was that she would misjudge a man, and then she would get into a relationship with him, and then she would have offspring with him, and then she finds out later that he's weak, he can't protect them, and they're fucked now. Yeah. Because back in those times, it was life or death if women chose the wrong man. Okay, right. So they've got a lot of things that they're doing unconsciously to prevent this from happening. They do not want to get themselves in a situation where they misjudge a man. They think he's confident. They think he's on his mission in life. He's going to make a good person to raise offspring with. This is their biggest fear. So they do a lot of unconscious things to test you, to see if you truly are who you are advertising that you are.
And especially for their offspring, right? They're looking for the ability to be able to raise their offspring, and it'll come with genetics, right? It'll come with resources. So there's so many layers that they're looking for, right? And you don't, and it's all subconscious. It's not like what's to say. They're not making a list the night before trying to figure it out on how they're gonna fuck with you the next day, even though it feels like it. Yeah. It feels like they are purposely fucking with you, but they really don't. They really don't know what they're doing. You know, you hear them being confused sometimes about, I don't know why I did that to him. Right. You know,
you're gonna hear women a lot in life questioning themselves, asking, why do I do this? And the reason that people do this is because we are still on a lot of the same software from when we did live in caves. And Anthony and I are not just pulling all this out of our ass. This is after Anthony and I have read many, many books on human behavioral science, intersexual relationship studies. We've done all the work for you so that we can condense it down to a nice little podcast where we can just kind of share all this stuff with you.
Yeah, put it in layman terms and kind of bring it all together to where it forms a picture where you don't have to, and you can, I mean, trust me, if you're listening to this right now, you're probably going to be curious enough to go look at this yourself. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to want to like, hey, I want to kind of find out, you know, where they derive that from, because listen, you only can absorb 70% of what we're saying just by listening, but until you repeat it and get it inside and kind of repetition. How many times? I mean, I've read books over and over again to digest it, man.
How to Be a 3% Man. I think I've read that one 9 times, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm definitely in the 20s.
And it's still my goal to read it 6 more.
Yeah.
You know, I want to read The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi at least 10 times. That is a lot of book. Yeah. But it's that important to me. Now, Anthony, let's give our listeners some examples of some shit tests. Go ahead.
Telling you after you made plans that she want to do something different. You know, hey, that sounds like a good idea, but can we do something more closer to my house? Or can we do something that's downtown? She's testing you at this point. Another one is,
she doesn't know she's testing you.
Right. She literally thinks she wants something close to her house.
Yeah.
And that could be true in some sense.
Right.
But if you've made plans, right? This is the thing. Women want you to make decisions. Right. Just like when they ask you, hey, what we gonna eat tonight? She's asking you this question, and you give her an answer, and then she's gonna turn around and tell you no.
Right.
If you knew what you wanted to eat, why are you asking me?
Right.
So it is a test. It sounds like it's like if you play into it, if you continue to give her option after option after option, she kept saying no, no, no. For me, I'm not playing that game. I'm just no way in hell that I'm gonna run down a list of options to guess for you what the fuck you want to eat.
Well, I mean, would Drake do that? Would Drake just sit there and name out foods?
Hell no.
Well, hold on, honey. What about Greek yogurt? No, don't want that. What about Burger King? Oh, no, don't want. What about Pizza Hut? No, Drake is going to be like, look, bitch, I don't.
It sounds like a spoiled child you're talking to.
Yeah.
That's telling you as the adult that,
make a food choice for me. And then as long as you don't play the game. Now, in the moment, she's going to be like, well, I just ask you what you want. I mean, what are you getting so mad for? Because it's fucking stupid. That's why I'm mad. I'm sorry to having this conversation. But She doesn't realize it when it happens, but she's internalizing. She's going to like that you make decisions and you don't play this game. That's a really good shit test. Trying to change the location of the date.
Yeah.
That's a great shit test. Talking shit to you on the date.
I was just about to say, telling you she don't like your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, your shoes are dirty. Or you have scruffy shoes. You don't know how to take care of your shoes. Or say something about your physical appearance.
Let's start there. I don't like your shoes. So, passing the shit test, Anthony, tell our listeners what that sounds like. When you pass the shit test of, I don't like your shoes. I mean, I never liked Jordans before. I think they're overpriced and expensive.
Oh, she tried to pull that.
Yeah. So how are you going to pass that shit test?
Man, because I have the same mindset, so I need to totally switch up. But if I own Jordans and I was wearing them, and she said that, let's say she said it's a waste of money, right? Like you wearing Jordans? That's a waste of money. You must be one of those what they call them guys that love shoes all the time.
Sneaker connoisseurs.
Yeah, sneaker heads or something shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you must be a sneakerhead or whatever. I was like, no, I found these in a dumpster actually. So
yeah,
I got these for free, and it's or I would just ignore it, right? Totally ignore it and be like, yeah. So I was thinking about this restaurant downtown. They have this great fucking view, right? And you don't get to see the view unless you go down in the bar. If you go down in the bar, you think there's no restaurant upstairs, but if you know this place, you'll go upstairs. They got a great fucking view up there. We should hit that. And you ignored all that bullshit she was saying to try to get a rise out of you. You ignore that shit. You just move past it, change the topic, and just move on.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can make a joke out of it. I mean, self-deprecate the issue like it ain't shit. I mean, that doesn't bother you. You can't let what she's trying to talk shit to you about bother you. That's the entire premise of it.
You cannot, guys, to pass a shit test, you have to stay in your masculine frame.
Is there a question?
Oh, we have a question?
Oh, no. I just want to see.
Oh, no. Tamara is watching. Welcome, Tamara. We're live streaming in the 30 Plus Renaissance group. Welcome, everybody. But you cannot get out of your masculine frame. Okay.
Right.
And everybody's going to handle shit tests differently. Now, you were saying I could do a self-deprecating joke. I don't like doing that because here's an example.
You're playing into it.
Yeah, you're playing into her opinion. So here's an example of failing a shit test to me, okay? Someone's like, oh, yeah, Jordans, man, those are expensive. That's a waste of money. I'm like, and then if you fail it, it sounds like this. It's, yeah, I know. I shouldn't have bought these. That was dumb.
But what I said wasn't saying that.
I know. But to me, there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And self-deprecating to me is sort of like that. It's not as bad as what we just said, but to me it's sort of like that. So I'd like to, but there's people that do self-deprecating humor. We were in a fantasy league. You remember Kevin, the president of the company? Kevin is just so good at self-deprecating humor. He should probably stay in that lane, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just not as good at it. So I'm kind of I'm
it's
either
a confidence thing though. Like,
yeah. If
it doesn't bring you down, right? If it's affecting you emotionally, then you should stay away from that level, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're easily to speak with that and you can just move on, but if you're talk about it and now you're like, damn, she don't like my shoes. What else she don't like about me? Like now you starting to close up.
Yeah.
You're trying to hide because you don't want her to pick out something else wrong with you. If you're going into that mindset, I would say just if you can't ignore it, right, and it start to bother you, you're probably going to be in a bad mindset to move forward with her. Just leave. Just let that one go.
Yeah, the lane that I would lean into, I would kind of, I don't know. I was really, really good at being the older brother that's picking on his kid sister role.
Okay.
So I would tend to lean in and make them feel stupid, so that it also kind of helped me with them, the frequency of the shit tests. You know what I'm saying? Like if there was a Jordan's thing, I'd be like, this chick swears she knows all about shoes and sneakers. Maybe you know all about me, I guess. Maybe you should be the ghostwriter for my autobiography, you know. and like roll my eyes and just kind of laugh at them, not with them, but at them, so that they knew if they were coming to spar with me, like I was gonna punch hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of how I handled shit tests. Guys, there's lots of ways to handle them, but the idea, and by the way, guys, it's also a little bit of a skill, okay? You can know about shit tests, you can prepare yourself for shit tests, but until you're on dates dealing with shit tests, and let me tell you, fellas, you're almost never ready for them. Because the date will just be going all 9s and 10s, and then they'll just come out of nowhere.
You can look at her stupid, too. Like, that was a stupid thing you ever said. Like, really? Anyway, change the topic. And just change the topic. That's an easy way to, even if it bothers you, it's easy to just, like, look at her like, kind of like, really? That's all you can come up with?
Yeah.
That was stupid. And then just give her that fucking, like, that dumbass look, like, really? That was your answer? Like she gave the dumbest answer on Family Feud ever. and then be like, all right, next topic, man. Let's talk about something else. I think it's dying or something. Let me
have a low battery.
Okay.
But anyways, we bring up shit tests before we go into dating, guys, because this is going to be something we're going to be bringing up.
Yeah.
All throughout the process. Okay?
It never stops. You get in a relationship, you get married, shit tests will exist, period.
And you have to do your best, guys. You have to do your best not to fail these tests.
You can fail them, you just can't fail them too much. And you damn sure can't fail them back to back. And then you got to recognize that what a shit test is, too. It can be very subtle. It can seem like it's very innocent. But like we said, these are subconscious fucking things that she's doing and saying to you that are challenging your masculinity, your frame, and your manhood on who you are.
And this isn't something to be offended by, guys.
No.
This is a woman. This is a woman actually showing interest.
Yes.
She just wants to make sure that you are who she thinks you are. Yep. So she's going to throw you a few traps.
Curveballs.
Yeah, some curveballs. So now that you know what shit tests are, let's jump right into this. Now we're going to start over from the show we were at before. We are going to not. This is about dating. This is not about pickup artistry. This isn't about getting phone numbers. We are going to go the step past that. Okay? So you've either got a match on a dating app or a website, or you met someone in person and you have their phone number.
Yeah.
So we're going to start from there, guys. So before you make this call, you have to do almost a military grade of planning this date. Now, Anthony, I know you've got some great strategies for our listeners about planning dates.
Yeah, we talked about this in episode 6, man. You definitely got to know where you're going, and we kind of touched on this too earlier. What do you know you have to do to have a date. I can't fucking even get my words together. An excellent date. How do you set that up? You have to have a specific plan on how you want things to turn out. So you get specific results. Sorry. The things that I want you to do is obsess about your technique, and so that your brain will take you to the direction where you want to go. I kind of want to touch a little bit last week. I'm not going to touch everything on that we touched last week, but I do want to say, pick a spot where you can move her from one place to another. Shopping malls are a great place. Here in Houston, there's several of them, or a park. You can meet under a tree. You can walk for a little bit. You can move it to the water area. Get under the shade, under a tree somewhere. I mean, long as you are moving her, that is ideal, because as long as she's following your lead, this is part of the psyche that she's okay with your leading. Okay?
Yes.
So
and Anthony just brought up something really important that I don't want you guys to skip over. A lot of this planning is about you leading the dates.
Yes.
That's where we're going to start from. We're going to start from a strong masculine frame. We're going to lead the date from start to finish. But Wesley, I want a relationship that's 50-50, and I want to decide. Shut up. Fellas, women want you to lead the date. Women just want to show up and be a woman.
Yep.
And be on the date. That's
Yep.
all they want.
Yep.
They don't want to decide where to go, because then it becomes a whole goddamn thing. It becomes a whole thing. So Anthony, something important about planning this date. You need to go to places where you can talk.
Yes.
That's very, very important.
No movies.
No movies, because you can't talk during a movie.
Yeah.
No concerts.
Concerts, right?
Okay? You need to be able to go someplace where you can start the seduction process.
Yes.
It can't be so loud that you can't talk. So, Anthony is already giving you... Boy, Anthony's giving you a really good tip. We talked about this last week a little bit, but if you go to a place where you can move from place to place...
Yes.
It gives the appearance that you've been on many more dates than you have.
With her.
Yes.
Not in total, but with her.
Yeah.
Like you're going on one date, you met her at the coffee shop, you went walking through the shopping areas, and you're looking at, your window shopping. Maybe you go into a store or two. Or you can, like the one in Pearland. That one's really nice because there's a lake behind the actual shopping mall.
Oh wow!
So you can take her to the lake and have a walk right there. You can go back for dinner or dessert, or take her home. That's the ideal. Let's be real. The end result you want. And we talked about this, having specific things in mind. You want to be able to take her home eventually, right? So moving from one date to the next date gives her more time with you. You got to build more rapport. If she spent this much time with you, she's enjoying herself, right?
Yeah.
And in your mind too, you're enjoying yourself. You're sticking around, because this is the thing. Women want more of your time for free before they give up sex, and men want more sex with less time given up, right? That's the exchange battle that men or women are fighting all the time.
Right.
So in this process of this date, you are giving time, and she's getting time. So there's exchangements here. So sex is the natural next step.
All right. As we go through the planning process, and this is not something Anthony and I made up. This is Corey Wayne 101. When you are setting up the date and you're planning it, remember, your goal is to hang out, have fun, hook up. That's it. Nothing deeper than that, guys. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Let me be more specific on that. No extravagant dates. No.
She haven't earned it.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, there's a lot of reasons you shouldn't do this, but even for you fellas that just really want to impress the girl on the
Even
first
if
date,
you got the means to do it.
even if you just really want to do it, let me ask you this. If you go on the extravagant day first, where do you go from there?
Right.
You got to keep outdoing yourself, right?
Exactly. And
No.
and let's say she sucks. Now, and even though you may have enjoyed yourself, you took her to your favorite spot, whatever, and you spent all this money, now you don't even hear from her again because...
Could be. Yeah. I mean, and that could be date 1 or date 21. You may never hear from her again. Listen to me now, guys. This is very important. When you're planning a date, extravagant dates and gifts are for girlfriends and wives only. You do not get any extra points, and you look incredibly insecure to women when you take them on extravagant dates and when you buy them gifts before they're your wife or girlfriend. Extravagant dates and gifts are for wives and girlfriends only.
And guess what? She don't respect it because she knows she's a stranger to you, and she hasn't done anything to earn it. So she feels that you do this with anybody anyway. So
and
it's
another
not special.
Another thing that will happen is you may get a pity date as the second date. You may get a pity date as the second date because sometimes you'll spend so much money, and normally they did not. Thank you so much. Normally they did not want to go on a second date with you, but because you spent so much money on them, they might give you a pity date.
You brought that is perfectly said. Because you are such a nice guy. Well, because even though it may be a pity date, she may be saying, "What else can I get if I give him another date?"
Right.
If I didn't do shit to get this next date, shit, I should be getting something else. Now, guess what? If she is not into you and she's on a pity date with you, and you think she's with you because she likes you because she went on another date, and you're like, hey, things are going to escalate on this date, right? Because, I'm taking her to another high-class restaurant, where the lights are dim and, you have a personal waiter for your table only. You got $500 bottles of wine being served on the date. Like,
it looks insecure, doesn't it?
Yeah, for me, it's too much in my mindset. For a woman, I feel like she's like, well, you're gonna either expect something from me because you're spending all this money. You're investing, right? You're putting a lot of investment into this moment. So you want, now she's on edge because now she's like, he's gonna want something now from me. She knows you're not doing this for free, that you want something more. So yes, you shouldn't do this, man. You should escalate your investments as she earns your time.
Also, we in the pre-show, we brought this up, and these are specifics, guys. Okay, let's talk about online matching, Anthony, versus you've already met this person before. Okay,
yeah, they're very different.
Very different, fellas. Okay, if you are getting an online match, say with Tinder or Bumble, or I know, I can already read the emails. I don't go on Tinder because Tinder's just a hookup site. Man, let me tell you guys, all the single people are on all the same apps. And if you're the person that's got your nose up in the air that you don't use Tinder, guys, it doesn't matter if it's a hookup site or anything. The stuff that we're talking about here tonight, you cannot skip any of this. However, you've got to handle things differently if it's an online match. With an online match, okay, and I know a lot of people have fallen into this trap because you've listened to dating coaches and you've read dating books that say you need to pick the woman up, okay? And I agree with this. But you cannot pick the woman up on an online match.
She don't know you like that, man.
She don't know you like that. Okay. Also, on an online match, I need you to prepare yourself, and we're going to get into a lot more detail on this later. But you are going to have to talk on the phone with her. And right now, I'm sure you're saying, no problem. No, it's a huge problem, and we'll talk about it later. But you're also going to have to talk on the phone to them so that they know you're not a weirdo. We still, in the year 2019, even though everybody meets online, people still think that the people they meet online are psychos for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah,
and the bad part is that, look, they're online too, right?
Right.
Like, they think you're creepy because you're online, but they ass online too. And it's such a double standard.
Everyone's online.
But, I mean, the technology has changed so much, man. It's not the only people online is not the creepy people. Okay, so people that they even got sites for married people now that want to have an affair. You know what I mean?
Right.
So everybody's online when it comes to out and meeting. It's easier because throughout your day, man, you barely have time for yourself. It's very rare to run into somebody that you're interested in that you're able to exchange numbers and set up some kind of date or build some kind of rapport. Now, you can, but a lot of times, man, people are caught off guard. But it's possible. Let's say that. It's definitely possible. I've done it. Especially when I was like, I'm very drawn to somebody. I'm like, look, I can't let this opportunity pass me. Even though this is Houston, I may never see this person again. It's like, how many people? 6 million people in this city now.
Yeah.
I may never see this person again. So I'm drawn to her. I need to holler at her, right? If I get denied, I get denied. It's whatever. But at least I'm going to try, right? Mm-hmm. And at this time, look, for guys, and we'll touch this. It's not going to be how to get a number date, but when you see somebody and you want to talk to them, go ahead and approach them, man. If it takes you longer than 3 seconds to move forward, you're gonna talk yourself out of it. Just run forward, introduce yourself, and say, "Hey, I saw you. I think you're a nice lady. What's your name? Oh, awesome. I gotta go, but I would love to get your number and have a drink with you one day." Move forward. Get the fuck out of there. Move in. Get out. You're not putting yourself under a lot of stress and try to have to make this impression. If she finds you attractive, she'll give you a number. That's that easy. You know what I'm saying?
And this is also something, guys, you have to get better at. You have to get your skill level up. You have to, and you have to be less afraid. And the only way you can become less afraid is if you
do it
over and over and over again. Now, I want to get into some specifics on the planning of the date too. What I really want you guys to do is I want you to plan similar to what Anthony said. I want you guys to plan a date where you can move around to different locations. And you can do it hopefully on foot. That's the easiest way to transition from one place to the other. What we'd like you to do is go on foot. Now, if you've got to, you can get in the car. Now, if you're going to get in the car, this is if she's riding with you. It becomes very taxing for a girl to always have to get in her car and follow you from one location to the other. Okay? So if you've got to drive, that needs to be with someone that you've already met in person and they're riding with you. Okay? If you're in two separate cars, I want you to make sure that you're going to a location where you can move from place to place on foot.
Right.
Or you got to stay at the same place the whole time. You got to keep her from... You don't want to be laboring her, okay? Everything, again, hang out, have fun, hook up. That's what we want you to do. Not not a bunch of complex shit. Also, every time that you get in your car, that's an opportunity for her to kind of feel like the date's over. You're no longer in front of her. You're no longer charming her. So if you're going to get in the car to move to the next location, you guys need to be in the same car. I'm also going to talk about when setting up the date. I want you to have this type of location near your house. Okay? Near your house. That way.
What do you mean exactly?
Okay, so if you are on the west side of town, try to get your date close to your house so that it's very easy to transition back to your house if the time comes for the hookup part. Whether it's the first date or the fifth date, it doesn't matter. But in your house, in your environment, you have control of everything. You've got a bottle of wine sitting there. Again, guys, this is part of the planning phase too.
You can show her your stamp collection.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is where you've got to be ready. You've got to be groomed below the belt.
Please.
You've got to have
wash your balls.
A bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine or a bottle of nice bourbon at the house.
Yes.
You have to have your house clean.
Oh, come on.
This is all part of the planning.
Basics, man. Basics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people aren't thinking this far ahead, Anthony. We talked about it at the beginning of the show.
What happens? You do all this work ahead of time. You've charmed her on the date. You got her to like you, and she's ready to come home with you. You get to the house, your house is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And turns her completely off.
You've just had a record screeching moment in the seduction process.
Right.
You know?
So all of this matters. Every little part matters. Every little thing that we're discussing, like I was saying, you have to have a plan. You got to be specific on every little thing that you're doing from the beginning to the end.
I want you to be obsessed with the details of this. I want you to be obsessed.
Exactly.
Because when she tries to give you a shit test and change the plans,
nope.
You're going to go, nope, because you're not going to say this to her, but you're going to think to yourself, I put too much fucking work into this.
Exactly.
Nothing's changing.
And women can tell when you've made an effort in your planning, right? Because you can, when they're on the date, they can tell. Mm-hmm. You're not fucking hemming and hawing. You're like, nah, babe, we going here. No. This place right here has this. This is why I want to show you something.
Well, wait. Let's stop into Baker Street Pub real quick. Nah, that place sucks. The place I'm taking to, that's where it's at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be pushed off your...
That's a shit test, by the way.
It definitely is. And guess what? You don't have to be an asshole about it.
No.
You can be like, hey,
you're
babe.
always going to be charming.
Yeah. You can always say, oh, that sounds like a good idea, but on our next date, maybe we'll go there.
Yeah.
Next time, we'll do that next time, babe. And it ain't got to be, no, bitch.
Right.
You're going to listen to Daddy today. Daddy says we're going here. This is one thing that
Anthony, you have really mastered that line of like, maybe we'll go there next time.
Yeah.
Like almost like you're talking to a child.
Well, they act like that, right? So you got to kind of treat them like that. Let's be honest, man. Women are looking for an authority figure in their life. That's why they're looking for men to make decisions that they don't have to, because they don't want that role. Even though this independent, bullshit is out there, they don't want that role, man. They want someone that they can lean on, that they can depend on.
And you know what? So that our audience can't, because I know there was a lot of people turned off when you just said that. So let me just do a quick sidebar so that everyone knows Anthony is right. Okay? Anthony says they're looking for an authoritative figure. Okay? Women's hypergamy is always going to push them to someone that's better than themselves.
True.
Okay? They either make more money. I mean, if you look at men and women in relationships, typically there's a 5 to 7 year gap in age.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
Not all women, Wesley. There's this one girl I know. The majority of relationships, there's a 5 to 7 year, and the man is typically older. Women want to step into a turnkey man. They don't want to wait till one day. Yeah, one day when he becomes. Now, younger women will do this, like with someone that's in a band or a musician or something like that. They want to be there before they pop off,
right?
But that's a whole different thing. Women are not looking for a daddy figure, but they want someone that's wiser than them, that has more money than them, that's more mature than them, that's, very attractive. So that's what Anthony means when he says they're looking for authority. Because women are always looking for someone better than themselves. We talked about this in a past podcast. Women talk about equality so much, but when it boils down to it, they do not believe in equality.
They
don't want a man of equal status of them. They want a man that's a status above them. Okay? So I don't want you guys to think, because what Anthony's saying is actually a deep, layered thing. Now, I know what Anthony means because we talk about this endlessly, but I don't want you to think that we think all women want some sort of daddy figure in their life.
Yeah. But
what they do want is someone that's a status above them.
Well, I agree with everything you're saying, because I was definitely going to go into a scenario where I had this conversation with a friend, and I was telling him, I was like, because he started to do this 50-50 bullshit with his girl. And I said, look, man, are you the king of her life? And he was like, well, I don't see myself as the king of her life. I said, well, in that sense, if you don't see that, if you're not her authority figure, if she don't see you as her king in her life, then she's going to be her independent self, and you can't sometimes be the king and then come out. You can never let her dictate to you, and then you try to dictate to her back.
No.
Because she's never going to let you come back and dictate. Because soon as you let her dictate to you, there's no more dictating to her.
Yeah, what women, and because 50-50 sounds good. It sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Because it just, again, one of those times in life where things just sound good. But what the reality is, if women think that you can't lead, then they're going to grab the saber and they're going to lead.
Take over.
And once they're in charge, it's hard to get them out. Okay? And then she's not in her natural feminine state.
Nope.
You're not in your natural masculine state.
Nope.
And let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. That's the beginning of the end.
Yep.
Unless you can get the reins back. Okay? And it all starts here, guys, with planning the date. You can't skip this. And whenever she tries to change up your plans, I want your plans to be so detailed and so badass, and you feel so good about them, that you will not know. No, I will not change my plans. I put a lot of fucking work into this shit. Now, I also don't want to scare guys. This is not a square one, ground up operation every time.
No.
When you're planning the date, you're going to take a lot of women on the same dates because it's just natural, guys. It's not mean. It's not anything bad. You're going to have your favorite spots. And we talked about this before too. Make sure you plan spots that you like, because the date may go badly. She just may not be a very interesting person. And then when you're on a date with a woman that's not interesting, Now, the only way this date can go well is if you have sex. I know, it sucks. But that's the only token now that's left is, okay, maybe I'll have sex with her. But sometimes that won't even happen.
I was going to say, man, I've been on a date like that. It was funny. I was like, you took me directly to this date. The date wasn't going well, man. I was like, I said, it sucks that this date isn't going well because I definitely wanted to have sex with you. And she said, we can still do that. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, at this point, I was so antsy. I was like, well, let's get the fuck out of here, right? Like,
yeah.
I think I was being just too nice to this chick because yes, I wanted to sleep with her, obviously, but I was like, wait, I mean, that's all it took. I could have did this. I could have skipped appetizers.
Yeah. Well, and I want to point out something that just happened there with Anthony's story. So he was with someone, and I'm assuming this person was a bit overly attractive.
Oh, yeah.
Than the other girls you were dating. Yeah, because I can always tell when a guy gets a little back on his heels, the girl's a little extra hot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, guys, that's why this planning the date thing is so critical, okay? Because if you get with a chick, let's say you met the girl, got her number, and she just wasn't fixed up that much that night. That's happened to me.
And you're like, is this the same chick?
100%. And you're just completely back on your heels. You know what you have, you know what you already have set up. You have this date planned. So now, even though you're kind of back on your heels, at least now you know exactly where you're going next. This is going to be really helpful for you guys.
It's so good what you said, man, because being on this repetitive date is easy for you now. So when you go on a date, there's no stress because you know the routine.
Right.
You know what to do. You're not in this, I have to figure out something to impress her tonight about, right? You're comfortable, you're laid back, you know what you're doing, and she's going with your flow. Your flow.
Now, I'm going to give you guys another pro tip on planning the dates. Now, I told you, so that you don't have to start from ground zero every time, you're going to take a lot of women on the same dates. Because these are places you like, okay? And stop with the rolling of the eyes and, oh, really, Wesley? You're going to take on the same date? Man, I just like these places. There's nothing manipulative or weird about it. Right. I like these places.
It's in your budget, right?
Right. And you're taking women to, or guys, to our LGBT friends out there, you're taking them to places that you like, that you can recommend, that has probably good food, good drinks, good atmosphere.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, mind you,
she gonna be offering you the same pussy that she gave somebody else.
Exactly.
So get the fuck out of
she
here
ain't
with
changed
that.
pussies on you.
Right. Yeah. She attached the new.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a damn good observation, Anthony. So you've got, but also challenge yourself to get out to new locations. Okay. New locations are good anyways, but I want to give you a pro tip. Since you're going to be going to the same place a lot, try to pick places that have attractive wait staff and bartenders. The reason being is because when you come through here with bunches of different dates and women, that raises your social market value to the wait staff and to the employees. So if you want to holler at them later, you can. However, now you're forced to date outside of your normal,
right.
Walkway shopping there. Yeah. But hopefully, what I would love to see from you guys, I would love for you to pick 5 places near your home.
Right.
And really, really sit around and master that. Especially if you're just starting your rotation. You've got a lot more time to do stuff like this. And this keeps you from doing dumb shit like calling chicks when you're not supposed to, texting when you're not supposed to, all that good stuff. Now, during this planning stage, This is the most important time that we tell you, because you just got a match or you just got their number. Listen to me, and there's no exception to this rule. Do not text. Don't text. Don't text. Right now in the dating phase, you are to talk on the phone only. Talk on the phone only. That's it.
This is man shit too. Like you're separating yourself from other men when you pick up the phone and actually have a conversation. When you have this conversation,
also you're in control. Yeah,
and you know you're not spending a lot of time on this phone, man. You're not trying to become this chick's best friend on the phone either. So 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, I don't think guys are going to have as big a problem, especially guys just starting out. I don't think they're going to have as big a problem as like not getting on the phone. But man, they're going to want to text because motherfuck guys get brave as fuck with all that texting. Oh, and I got a little cool Baby Yoda meme.
Look, and hey, that was me. I was the gift master. I had so many gifts, man, that I was wanting to use because I was so funny, right? So I was like, oh, she gonna love this. I got the perfect gift for this conversation.
Watch this,
right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna impress her with my gifts and my memes, man.
My wife, I was asking because I was doing a little prep for this show too. And I was asking my wife what kind of text she would get when she was dating, and the one, and you're gonna smile when I tell you this, the one that she was like the most common one. Good morning, beautiful.
Oh man, it's
stop,
played
guys.
Out, man.
Stop.
Every woman on the planet has gotten that text. Every woman with
Good
a
morning,
phone,
beautiful. Yeah.
Every woman with a fucking phone has gotten that text, man. I used to be him. I don't do that shit no more. But
I used to be that guy too, guys. Listen. That's what I'm saying. You have to learn how to do this. No texting. Plan your date, and while you're planning it, you're not getting any feedback from her. You're planning this solo. Hey, do you like Dave and Buster's, or do you? No. It don't matter what she likes. You do what you like, because also, guys, that's a very genuine place to start from. I remember I was on a date, and I thought this girl was gorgeous, Asian girl. She was an engineer. She was, just beautiful girl, man. And that means a lot to guys, looks. Well, I planned a date, and bitch was vegan. And then she was like, yeah. And so it was cold outside. I went back to my car to get the jacket so I could kind of drape it over her shoulders. My jacket was leather. Yeah. So she's just like, oh my God, didn't know you were going to put an animal carcass on me.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, I look back on that now though, and I'm like, well, yeah, we did shit I wanted to do. I didn't rearrange all my shit for vegan, because I'm not vegan, man. I can't live my life like that.
Yeah.
You're sitting on a leather couch over here at Navigation Studios, man. It's just like I can't live my life like that. So I don't need to change my date up to accommodate her, because it's not a good match.
Right.
Yeah. So guys, during the planning stage, you're not getting any feedback. You're not going to ask them, hey, what do you like to do? Blah, blah, blah. No. You do what you like to do, because this is a representation of you guys. Guarantee you, if Idris Elba was taking him out on a date, Idris Elba wouldn't be like, hey, so what do you like to do? I just wanted to make sure you have a good time. No, none of that, man. None of
that. And the thing is, that's a big deal what he just said. A lot of guys want input from a woman, and a lot of times, man, they don't know.
I need you to reach between your leg, fellas, and check and see if your balls are there. I'm only asking you at this stage to plan a date, start to finish, And I want you to strategically make it easy for the two of you to have sex. When men and women have sex, or when men and men have sex, or when women and women have sex, it is the masculine person's fault when the sex happens. So I want you guys to plan a date that can end in sex. And don't worry, it's not always going to. But it ends in sex because sex is your fault. Your fault. But I want you to plan this date from front to finish. Again, guys, if it's an online match, you're going to be meeting out separate. If it's someone that you've already met before, you're going to pick them up. Now, I bring that up for a specific reason. So I always want you to plan near your house. But for those of you that know the person and you pick them up and you come back, so now you've got two routes. You're close to your place if you want to stop at your place for sex. And guys, be charming about it. Women want plausible deniability.
Yes.
Okay? So you're not going to say, hey, you want to go back to my place so we can fuck?
Right.
No, fellas. You're going to say something like, oh, God, this wine's really good. But I'm not going to lie. I've got a Gibbs Cabernet back at my place and a Gibbs Pinot Noir. It's to die for. If we get a wild hair later, I live really close by. We can stop in and grab a glass. You've got to try it. It's amazing. And you're going to give them plausible deniability. Y'all both know what's about to happen.
Yep.
But you need to give her a reason. Listen, guys, part of seduction is...
She gonna tell her friends, girl, he asked me over to test
and then
his
I don't
wine."
know what happened. Right. She knows what's up. But listen, guys, part of good seduction is you don't want these women to feel like a hoe.
Right.
Okay? You want them to feel like that they're on this magical love story ride. Why? And guys, this is what women want. So why rob them of this?
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not manipulation.
Guys, we are not going to be talking about manipulation this whole time. Okay?
Yeah.
None of this is about manipulation. This is about setting you up for successful dates that you and and the woman are going to enjoy. That none of this works, guys, if the woman's not having a good time.
Right.
None of it works. Okay? So set up and plan your date accordingly. Now, if it's someone you know, you then, when you take the girl home, you now have an opportunity to go into her place. Okay? So I want you guys to plan it accordingly. We spent a lot of time on the planning part of this, guys.
Wesley.
Because it's so important. I can already see people skipping over them. All right, let me plan the date. It's fine.
I think you skipped over another one when you said this. Let's say you take her to your place, right? You have the bottle of wine. You try to escalate physically. It progresses, but it doesn't go all the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still have to take her home. You have another opportunity.
And this is part of the planning. Yeah, exactly, Anthony.
No,
exactly.
No means no right now. She may want to feel a little more comfortable at her place. Right?
So I'm jotting this down because because we've got planning the date. We're going to go into setting the date, which we're going to help them with. Then we're going to go during the date, and now I'm going to add something, Anthony, because we're doing okay on time.
Okay.
I want to do after the date.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to add that, and I'm feeling really good about how we're progressing here. So after the date, and no means no for now. We are going to come back to that. That is very critical.
Yeah.
No means no for now. So you have not. We'll get back to it.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's a really critical one, though.
And it's a very fine line with it. Like we said, it's part of the seduction process, and you just have to continue with the date, continue with your charm, continue with the escalating physically, and reading her body language and getting to know her. You know? So
women always want to feel like they have the power to put the brakes on at any time.
Right.
So guess what you do?
Exactly.
You show them they always have the
that
power.
they're safe.
They're safe. No? So you're saying no? Then we'll stop.
Right.
For now. And then we'll wait till you warm up a little bit more in the seduction process.
Right.
And then we're going to get to that in a big piece during the date and the after the date. Now, Anthony, now's the big moment. We've planned the date. We've gone into a lot of specifics on where to plan it, how we're going to move them from place to place.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a whole military operation planned. So now it's time to set the date. I told you guys before, no texting. None. No texting. You are going to call, okay? You're going to call one time. Now, when you get the number, guys, pro tip, when you get the number or when you're messaging on the app, find out a little bit about their schedule so that when you call, because the first time you call, guys, she don't know you from Adam, okay? So you're not a priority. So you want, when you call, for it to be a time where she picks up. That's a pro tip, guys. Find out some information about, during your planning stage, find out about when they are available to talk on the phone, okay? If you're on a dating app, just ask them straight up, hey, I'd love to call and talk, and so we can plan something. When are you free to talk? Just ask them, and then free to talk. Boom, boom, boom. Now, some women on the dating apps, before you can talk on the phone, they're going to want to warm up a little bit with the messaging. Yeah. I'm going to warn you. You're going to talk to a lot of dating coaches or read a lot of dating coaches. They're going to tell you, no, don't message them. Guys, this is unavoidable, unfortunately. On the dating apps, you need to warm up a little bit before you talk on the phone. You need to warm up, share a few things. Not a lot of humor, guys. What you want to, if you like rock climbing, talk about, yeah, I love rock climbing. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love this. I love that. You sound like a really interesting person. I'd love to talk. And then you find out what time they're available and talk on the phone. Guys, if it's an online match, I'm just going to warn you, you're going to have to talk to them for about 20 minutes before setting the date. If it's someone that you met in person and have their number, none of that. You just want to call, chit-chat, 30, 45 seconds. Then we're going to go into some specifics about setting the date. So I'm telling you guys, these are very different. So don't get lost on us, okay? Online matches on dating apps are very different than someone you've met in person already. That online match, they're going to want to talk to you a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to get some flakiness.
Well, they want to know what kind of personality you have and can you hold a conversation, right? Make sure that you aren't crazy. That's right. The main part. So that's why you're saying don't get into the humor where you get lost in translation with conversation
via the message
app. Yeah.
Now on the phone when you call the first time,
definitely
all the humor.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't be a clown.
Yeah, just having playful, fun conversation where you're not being. This is not a fucking interview process. Look,
we're not in front of a grand jury,
right? Don't be interview guy either, man. On these talks, don't be asking a bunch of questions, trying to get to know them. Get to know them in person. That's where you're gonna build rapport.
Okay, Anthony, you brought up a good point. So when you call and do your little 20-minute conversation about with your online person. So they're hearing your voice for the first time. This is what I want from you guys. Talk about your day. We're not talking about our hobbies. We're just going to talk about your day. A real good default for me.
I'm about to say, give them a quick example.
Yeah, a real good default, and I use this a lot, and sometimes I wasn't being 100% honest, but so that they knew that I was on my purpose and I was a man of business and I had a career, I would talk about how stressful my workday was. Oh boy, then we had these people doing this, and anyways, I've gone on too long. How was your day? and you're just going to talk about your day, guys. This is not a date yet. So they just want what you want to present to them is, I'm a real person.
Right.
With a heartbeat and a pulse, and I had a stressful day. Okay. And when you present it like you had a stressful day, you kind of have permission from the other person to be a little distracted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was always kind of a cool role to play. Like, oh God, don't even get me started on my work day. I start my day, got stuck behind a train. It was like, oh, anyways, rough day, and you laugh it off. You're not sitting there like, my fucking work sucked, man. I fucking gotta quit this job, man. You're just keeping it light. Again, guys, hang out, have fun, hook up. Anthony and I always kind of had a default, where we were like the older brother, she was kid's sister. If you're always kind of in that energy, you're usually right. Okay, just kind of. You're picking on them, but they know you're nice and you care about them. Right. That's kind of the lingo that you should be having.
You're not trying to be overly romantic.
No, God, no. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite.
Right. You definitely.
Romantic shit is for girlfriends and wives.
Right.
Yeah. And gifts and extravagant dates. Those are for girlfriends and wives. They've earned it. You got to stop the mindset of what you're used to doing, and you got to stop what society has taught us through movies, through TV shows, through all these romantic comedies where the guy has thrown himself at this woman for years and been her friend, waiting in the weeds for years, and finally she recognized what a great guy he is. Fellas, if she don't think you're a great guy, now, she's not going to develop it over time. No. she's not until she's hit the wall, and you could be doing better anyway.
Right.
She's hit the wall, so now she wants to come around. You could just be dating 25, 26-year-olds. Yeah, I mean, men usually hit their sexual market value prime at the age of 35.
I notice women at my age now look at me crazy when they see me with like a younger woman, like in her 20s, obviously in her 20s. They kind of give me this side eye, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, bitch, like, it's
100%. Yeah.
You wasted your time. You know what I mean?
You wasted all your younger years.
I'm enjoying this.
Hanging out with Big Dick Rodney and going to Cancun and going to the foam parties.
I remember one of my friends telling me, she was like, "Why are you dating these young women?" She was like, "Because they don't know no better." That's why. That's what she said, right? So I was like, "No."
Well, I appreciate you trying to.
It's a shaming
simplify, and shame me. The real deal is she's younger and more beautiful. I don't know what to fucking tell you, chick.
I'm attracted to her. I'm sorry. I mean, shit. You see her, right?
Yeah.
You see her, man. Block Disney. Block Disney from all transactions. We just got access.
We just got a direct message from Disney. Let me read this, Anthony. Women are beautiful no matter what age they are. Women age like fine wine. The older they get, the more complexly beautiful they become.
Now, we were just watching somebody who is 50 years old that is still looking amazing.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez.
Right? So, there are some older, fine women out here, but they ain't.
Let's take a sidebar, though, Anthony. Jennifer Lopez is not accidentally hot.
No, she's not.
At the age of 50.
She's not chilling on the sofa.
I almost want to write this down so that we make sure to cover this topic next week.
Okay.
This is all about dating 101. But I want to cover women used to really deliberately keep themselves beautiful.
Yes.
My grandmother was one of these types. My grandmother, fucking day she died, chick was always getting up, putting on makeup. I'm talking about she had cancer and missing her hair, and she had leukemia. I mean, kept herself up. That was that generation was not going to be caught sleeping in the looks department.
Right.
Now, we were watching.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They refuse, no matter where they're going.
Nope.
If they go into the corner store, they are not going cut outside
they
without
took pride in their looks.
Yeah.
Now, women have more time now than they've ever had.
And they still walk outside in their
they're
pajamas
still
and slippers.
lazy. Yes.
They would go to the fucking grocery store in their fucking pajamas and slippers. And now the lazy thing now is fucking yoga pants no matter where you go.
Well, hold on.
Now you...
That's where I disagree. Ladies,
listen,
I love when you wear yoga pants.
I ain't complaining.
I'm a huge fan of women wearing athleisure. It's called athleisure clothing. Okay. I'm a huge fan of it, but the problem is you got to have the body to go with. You can't just
now that's important.
See,
that's very important.
You gotta look like you have done athletic shit before you wear athletic clothes. Okay,
I don't mind looking at it. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I don't mind seeing it. My only thing is when I'm speaking of it, it's the only thing they wear. Like there's no deviation in what
I see what you're saying.
So it's like I want to enjoy not seeing everything, right? I want to be able to have an imagination. I want to be able to imagine what you look like
100%
at some times, right?
I know a perfect example. We were watching the Miss Universe pageant.
Okay.
And it was during the and my wife had it on. I never watched that stuff, but I watched it this year. I don't think I've ever watched it ever.
Yeah, I haven't either.
She had it on, and so she had it on, and it was Iceland. It was either Iceland. Yeah, it was either Iceland or Finland. And she had like a ball gown on that was kind of puffy. It was tight. Excuse me. It was tight up top, but it was kind of puffy down below. It was just so elegant, so gorgeous, man. Yeah. She was so beautiful. I agree with you, man. Whenever I go to strip clubs, the girls that just wear nothing before they
strip
to nothing. I like to see more clothes on them.
Right.
I just like it more.
There's studies there's statistics that show that men are more turned on by the more clothing than actual less clothing.
Yeah.
So it gets our imagination going.
Yeah.
If I can already see what I'm getting, then there's really nothing to see. I mean,
yeah.
And just like women, their curiosity already have to go. Like, if we walked around in gray sweatpants, ladies, all the time, y'all wouldn't. Like, why are men always wearing gray sweatpants?
And and this isn't just a women's thing. I have to kind of like watch. One of my favorite things to wear is sports jerseys because I have this collection of sports jerseys, and I just recently got a jersey that I love. It's an authentic Steve McNair Baltimore Ravens jersey. My wife is from Baltimore, so she supports my team, so I try to support her team as well. But I love that jersey. But I have to remember, like, Wes, you can't live life wearing jerseys all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Let's get back into this. Anthony, we're going to call on the phone, and we're going to set the date. Okay? We need to set the date with the ladies. Now, this is going to help our listeners out tremendously. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call. I want you to do your little chit-chat. Okay? Again, guys, we're keeping it light. We're not talking about deep shit like the Trump impeachment. Or, or do you really, man, do I even want to, like, pursue this career? Sometimes I ask myself, no, it's just light.
No, please.
How your day went a little bit, oh, God. And then you almost kind of act distracted, like, Yeah, and then it's, oh, Jesus. Anyways, the reason I called is I have some free time this weekend.
Right.
No, I have some free time this week. See?
Please.
I'm out of practice. I'm out of practice.
Please say a day. And
No. Wait. For me, now I'll let you go too, Anthony, but for me, it's like, hey, I've got some free time this week. What's your schedule look like? That is critical, guys. I'm going to repeat it. I have some free time this week. What's your schedule look like? The reason being, and we talked about this last episode, the reason that you want to ask it like that is because here's what you don't want to happen. Hey, I've got some free time on Friday. What are you up to? Actually, going to my brother's graduation on Friday. Oh, okay. Well, what's Saturday look like? Well, Saturday, I might be free in the evening, but earlier that day, I've got a funeral I've got to go to. And oh, okay. What's Sunday look? Oh, I work on Sunday, and then you've been rejected 3 times. So now she's in the mode of rejecting you
and saying no to you,
and you're going to be back on your heels.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm taking all that out of the equation. Hey, I've got some free time this week. What's your schedule look like? So she tells you when she's free. Then you get to match it. Okay, guys? It's super, super simple, but it's going to keep you out of so many problems.
I'll give you a real world one that happened this week for me. So I told a prospect that I wanted to see her this Saturday. And she said that she was going to be volunteering, and I'm like, you going to be volunteering the whole day, bitch? Like, well, okay, whatever. You're going to be volunteering. I'm like, okay, then.
Well, hold on. It's her prerogative. If she volunteers, she might be tired later.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. It's just that I'm so arrogant in my mind about when I'm available that I want you to be available. But that's just me. That's me though, and that's just, and I guess because the reason I am arrogant in that way is because I used to be too flexible, so I've trained myself to be the opposite, and so I'm not flexible when it comes to me setting dates. So Wesley is saying open the conversation to see what her schedule is. I'm saying for myself. And this is for me because I'm such a nice person that I would try to like rearrange my schedule to try to fit her schedule to meet up, and I was falling to traps like that. So I had to discipline myself and say, pick a day. If she can't go on that day, then fine. We'll find another day. But I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm doing a workaround. And because I want, obviously I like her. I want to see her, right? So I'm trying to set the date. So I'll say, look, Saturday afternoon, I have some free time in that time between 2 and 7, right? That's if I'm, whatever that time is, right? So I'll set that. And if she can't fit in that time, then I'll say, okay, if that doesn't match with you, then get back with me when you have free time beyond this, and then we can try to work something out. The reason I did that for me is because I was too flexible before, and it's like sometimes my schedule is because I had a schedule where I would work sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, and I didn't know my schedule, right? So I would almost be open to helping her fit within my schedule because my schedule was so up and down. Yeah. I'll be like, well,
Yeah, you were feeling guilty that your schedule was so up and down.
Right.
So you were, I can see where your mind was.
So I had to cut that out and say, you know what? My free time is my free time. It is what it is. If you can't fit that specific time, that's not my fault. So we'll figure it out outside of that, right? We'll go in a different direction on another day. And I don't feel guilty for being not available, right? So once I became available and then matched, then that's what we did. And I forgot what we said while we were setting the date. We said we were setting this. The time schedule. The time schedule for me is very important, especially when you're trying to assess that you are in control. You are going to be able to maintain your stance or your framework when you are setting this date, right? Because it's very easy to hear her objections to your times and objections to the day that you picked. So you can just like, okay, that doesn't work. Then we can set up another day. And for me, I'll say this too, Wesley. I've changed some of my tactics, right? The longer I've dated. Now, this is important. Thank you. A quick little toast. Shout out to 1792.
There you go. Sorry about that, guys. You said you changed some of your tactics.
I've changed some of my tactics when it comes to setting up certain dates where she's going to be more involved in conversation with me in the following week because we were not able to get on a date. So now I gotta have some conversation with her on the following week to let her know that my interest is still gauged, and I didn't just blow her off. Mm-hmm. Because I'm so rigid or stringent on my date time that when I say, okay, that didn't work out, then we'll go somewhere else. So a lot of times some women seem like, well, damn, I was available the next day. He didn't offer me anything for that.
Well, see, this is what I feel like that asking that question, what does your week look like, keeps you out a lot of these problems.
See, my work schedule is so different.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, but you're talking about a real specific, and I think it's important that you talk about that specific because some of our listeners have those same problems, right? But I want to find out what her schedule is. Now, guys, Anthony just brought up a really good one because I don't want you to get shit tested right out the gates, okay? Because a real shit test is going to be, hey, I can't do 7, but how about 8? I don't like that.
No.
So already we're kind of on her terms. I know, guys. I know it doesn't sound like it's that big a deal. I know. It's a huge, huge, huge deal. That's why I want to ask her first. So what's your week look like? I'm free Friday and I'm free Saturday. What, in the evening or like early afternoon and I'm going to ask because once we go to my plan,
that's it.
That's all. She's going to be on a date. And this is, for our ladies so that we're transparent. This isn't some sort of manipulation tactic. We are on a date with an alpha who is decided stage by stage, step by step, what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
And guess what? She's going to enjoy it because she don't have to decide shit. She's just on a ride, guys. This is what women want.
Yep.
They want to be in their feminine energy. Like, wow, this guy planned all this shit for us. Look at this. All I got to do is show up and be pretty and be a girl. Oh, my good. I mean, for women, this is like, Calgon, take me away. Serious. Because think about it, fellas. If it was the other way around and women were planning a date for us, it'd be fucking nice, wouldn't it? It'd be like, wow, look at this. She planned all this shit for me. It's a way of feeling like pampered. And then look, now they're in their feminine energy. Feminine energy is all about opening up and receiving. And feminine energy is like, imagine it's like a flower. And it just opens up and blooms. As long as you're watering it and giving it sunlight it eventually slowly opens it up. Now, that also means opening up their legs.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's a beautiful thing that takes place called, I was about to say deception. It's not deception. Seduction. But it's all about opening that flower. So setting the date. Did I miss anything on setting the date, Anthony?
No, I think we're good, man.
I think, but it's very, very important. Open it up with, what's your week look like? Saturday. When are you free on Saturday? I, too, am free on Saturday. So that we don't get into any of these shit tests where it's like, instead of 8 o'clock, can we do 9? Instead of 9, can we do 9:30? Instead of 9:30, no.
Here's another shit test. If she says she's available and then she changes it because something happened.
Bitch, I ain't just available when the fuck ever.
Life happened, right?
And by the way, guys, in the beginning, I want you to fake it like you're not available. But in the future, I want you to literally not be available because you plan your free time on the weekends. You're either hanging with the boys, you're on a different date, you're doing whatever. But you are not.
Change if you have a man. This is so important. I don't want to get off topic too much.
And Anthony, I don't want to forget about your technique when they try to change the date.
Okay.
Can we hit that real quick? Because you're really, really good at that. You showed me a text thread, and I know guys, if you listen to the last podcast, I know that we're repeating ourselves, but we want to put all this dating stuff in one podcast. So, Anthony, you had a great tactic, and I saw you do this on a text thread. When a girl tries to change a location on the date, man, this is charming as fuck, man. So what did you say when they try to change a location?
So I already set the date and agreed upon where we're going, and then she's good to go. Then she says, well, how about we go to this restaurant? And I'm like, cool. That sounds like a good idea. How about on the next date, you get to choose where we go, and on this date, we still go here.
And I saw her reaction to it in the text thread. She says it was like it was a really nice response. It was like, yeah, gotcha, fair enough.
Yeah,
and she just moved right through,
right?
Because you were letting her know, like, hey, next date, you can choose. Now, you later told me, this bitch ain't never going to choose where the fuck we're going.
No.
But in the moment, we just kind of like moved right through it. Okay, cool. I mean, maybe, and if we're just being genuine, maybe it's a dope place that she knows about. Maybe it's a place I need to know about. And like, who cares?
And I'm
right?
open. I'm open to new spots, but you're not going to change the date. You know,
no. This date, we have got this a military operation, fellas. We've got everything from A to Z planned out.
And this specific spot I've never been to, actually, too. I actually had never been to this spot already. So I was kind of going in blind as far as the ambiance and all that. But I saw the prices on the menu. I was cool with that. So I was like, okay, I'm just going here to get a drink, right? But it's like a taco bar, a little like upscale taco bar, right? Mm-hmm. So I like the bar itself. So I was there for a drink. If the date progressed into where we can get something to eat, well, we are already there, right? And I was going to purposely move her from the bar to a table.
Okay. And I also want to go into when you plan the date, guys, it's very, very important to know. For example, if you don't want to buy this girl dinner, you still have to know that there are times when people eat, motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I knew, so example, for planning a date, if I knew this girl, I'm not getting high attraction, I'm not getting a good vibe, I don't want to buy her dinner. No. I just don't. Okay, guys, I got to go late.
So 9:30, 10 o'clock, meet up.
Well, I think 8:30 is pretty solid. Nobody's going to wait to 8:30 to eat.
Shit.
Well, some of these hoes.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm planning that. Again, guys, you have to plan your shit.
I went on a date, man,
Anthony,
and she said, I didn't eat all day. We was going out. I was like, it's 9:30. I already ate dinner. I don't know what you're going to do. I already ate.
Well, then she looked stupid. Like, she waited till 9:30
to eat. And I'm like,
girl, you know what's going on here.
Right.
You know goddamn well what's going on.
Shit, 30 minutes is booty call time. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
Come
talking
on,
about?
Man. And the other thing I want to point out is Anthony, again, planning the date is so critical, guys. Anthony said it. Like, if you're going to the gym, you got your workout planned out. You're not just like, oh, no. Well, that machine's open. No. You're going laser focused. That's how I want your date to be. Again, guys, setting the date. What's your week look like? When are you available that day? Cool. Now, here is the critical part. And I know Anthony has got mixed feelings on this part, but this worked out really, really well for me. I got tired of bitches flaking on me. Here's what would happen in the year 2019. Now, apparently, these bitches can show up to work 5 days a fucking week without their boss texting them at fucking 9 o'clock at night being like, hey, just so you know, work's still on tomorrow.
Yeah. They show up to work.
Yeah, they show up to work, no problem. Work's still on tomorrow. Oh, hey, Tuesday night, hey, just so you know, we're opening up on Wednesday. Work's still on. But when it comes to, no, they can show up to their job, no fucking problem. But when it comes to dates, these bitches swear to God, you got to be fucking talking to them all week leading up. And then you'll be like, hey, I'm going to be about 15 minutes late picking you up. Picking me up? We're still going out?
Right.
I didn't think we were going out. You ain't talked to me all week.
Yeah, I ain't heard from you all week.
Bitch.
I'm like, didn't we set a date? Like, what's the point of setting a date if
Wait,
we're not gonna?
We're still having 4th of July this year? I mean, the United States didn't send me an email.
Right.
So we still doing that shit? Yeah, it's every fucking year, bitch. I talked to you on fucking Tuesday and said we're going out on Saturday. Yeah, you ain't heard from me. It's still fucking on.
It's where Wesley is frustrated. Like,
oh my
pissed
God,
me off with this
fucking flake rate.
When you holding people accountable, right? Because if I set a
adults keeping appointments, motherfucker, like Jesus Christ.
That's why.
It used to drive me insane.
That's why if you go to, let's say you set an appointment to go to do a dentist appointment, right? And you don't show up.
Wait, that appointment's still happening?
There's a no-show cost to that, right?
Oh, 100.
You took a potential
we
client.
could have done surgery on somebody else and made money.
Exactly.
You don't get to take up our fucking time.
And you don't get away with it for free.
No.
So why is it okay for you to be so flaky in your life? See, my thing is
because it's not women's fault.
It's our fault.
Men
our fault.
have allowed them to flake
and get away with it.
Don't worry, fellas. We're not here to bitch and complain. We have solutions to this, okay? When you are setting the dates, listen up. This is important. The real easy one. When are you available? Saturday? What time are you available on Saturday? Cool, that works for me. And then you've got your plan. Cool. Let's meet at, or I'll pick you up at, and then we're going to do, I got a whole day planned for us. Now, here's the next thing you're going to say. Okay? This is mission critical. Okay? Next thing you're going to say, and Anthony, I'll let you comment on this, because I know that you're not totally sold on this. Next thing you're going to say is, God, I've got a crazy week work-wise, so I'm really looking forward to being able to hang out and do something fun this weekend. So if you don't hear from me this week, I'm busy out of my mind. But I have set time aside for us. I'm looking forward to it, and I wouldn't miss it. So I'll see you there. If I'm late, or if anything changes, you'll hear from me. If not, we'll see each other then. Boom! You're done. You're out. You are setting the standard. Bitch, you are not going to hear from me all week long because I'm fucking busy. I'm busy, bitch. You are not going to hear from me.
Wesley, you supposed to. You got her number. You're supposed to keep tabs on her.
I'm supposed to sit there
and make sure.
So excited about this weekend, girl.
Every morning there's a countdown, like 2 days left.
Good morning, beautiful. 2 days until we see each other. Bitches know that this makes them unattracted, but for some reason in their mind we should be doing this shit.
Right, it's bullshit. It is such bullshit.
But I've given you the tools. All right.
So Wesley has an idea about that. I have my own idea about that. My idea about it is to set the date no more than 2 days to 3 days apart.
Oh, well, hold on. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Okay. I
mean, guys, I want y'all to know 3 day, and you might agree with me on this, 3 day is your flake rate of women flaking on you. Your flake rate is going to go way down if it's 3 days out. 3 days is perfect. Now, the problem is if she's a dime.
I was just about to get there. I was going to say that.
Yeah,
I was
if
like,
she's a dime, you got to get out in front of all the other motherfuckers asking her out.
But it might take a week or 2 weeks to set this date with her, depending on how, because obviously she's not waiting for me to meet her in life to set a date with me. So I know that she has other options. Hell, I got other options. I might not be available to her. So my thing is, when I am available to her, then I will set that date. But I want to do it 2 to 3 days out, mainly because what do you say? Bitches be cray. That women will be quick to flake on you with that. Well, I didn't hear from you shit, and it's like, it's frustrating for me for a guy who keeps his word and will follow through on what he says he does, right? And I'm like, and women turn me off when they tell me, well, I ain't heard from you all week, so I didn't know that we were still even doing this, or guys have done this to me before, and I'm like, well, guys didn't show up, so I don't want to waste my time. And it's like, if your concerns were really valid, you didn't reach out to me if you had concerns about this, right?
Right.
So you're putting it on me about what somebody else did to you, and you want me to suffer, or you want me, now you're making me think you ain't shit because you're trying to put what somebody did to you on me.
Right.
So how fair is that? You're pushing blame, and now you're trying to put it on me like it's my fault. No, I did my job. I set the appointment. I set the time. I'm excited. I'm waiting. I'm actually looking forward to it. I know I'm gonna have a fucked up week. I love to sit down and relax with and get to know you. But now you're saying it's not okay to fucking touch your insecure ass on text message or calls because somebody else didn't fuck you over. I'm not good with that.
And here's the thing. I mean, we're 2 hours deep into this. We haven't even started the date. This is how like heart attack serious all these steps are. Okay? Again, guys, you can really help your flake rate by saying, when are you available? That way we know what her schedule is. Okay? Hopefully it matches up with yours.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're available Saturday. We're not going to stop there, guys. Don't skip this shit, guys. Okay, you're available Saturday. What times? So that we're not going to get into this, well, I can't do 7 o'clock, but can we do... No. We're not doing all these games, okay?
What? Let me ask you a question, because me and you do both agree about what time of the day we want to be on this date.
Well, we should have covered that in the planning. But
okay.
Let's backtrack after we get through this part. It's a very good point. Because we talked about that last podcast,
right,
and we need to touch it before we move on to the date itself. But then we want to say, hey, got a busy week. If you don't hear from me, It's not because I don't want to talk, hang out, whatever. However you want to phrase it. If you don't hear from me, because they're not going to hear from you, okay? Because, guys, we're not going to text. We're not going to call and be their gay male boyfriend on the phone. We are going to set the appointment, and then we're going to make the appointment. That's it. If you've worked in sales, this is not new.
Nope.
You don't sell over the phone. You don't sell yourself over the phone.
Wesley, how many
set appointments?
How many times have you recalled somebody to verify that they still gonna meet with you? Typically, when you call them to see if they still gonna meet with you, guess what?
They cancel on you.
They cancel on you.
Yes. So we're not going to call. We're not going to give them that opportunity. Now, then we're going to say, hey, you're not going to hear from me this week, but you're going to say it charming. You're not going to say it like in a dick way.
No.
You're going to be like, all right, so busy week. I'd love to talk and hang out. I can't. However, because this week's going to be busy and crazy, I want to have some fun this weekend. So I'm looking forward. Excuse me. I'm looking forward to this. So if anything changes, I'll reach out. Okay? Now, if the interest is high, I'm going to guarantee you this is going to happen. They're going to feel a little insecure because they have high interest in you. And they're going to reach out and give a little feeler text. Because women hate to be stood up. They hate it. It crushes them. It crushes them. So they're going to send a little feeler text out to you. Hey, looking forward to the date this weekend. Or, oh, God, work's been crazy for me, too. They're going to be a little bit more slick about it.
What
work's been
mean?
crazy for me, too. Oh, how's your week been going? Now, guys, this is all you're going to reply. Because we're not going to get caught up in the back and forth text. We need to be mysterious. I want you to make yourself, if you've ever seen the show Sex and the City, you're Mr. Big. You ain't got time to be texting hoes all day, okay? You're making moves. You're buying companies and facilitating, selling them the company. Like, whatever, guys. Whatever character you have to have in your own mind, okay? You ain't got time to be texting hoes all day. So this is what you're going to respond because you don't want to ignore her because she's going to think now the date's off. This is what you're going to respond. Great to hear from you. If I get a moment, I'll call you. That's it. We're not going to do the gifts. We're not going to have Baby Yoda doing a dance and a gif. We're not going to have a
Baby
joke.
Yoda, Wesley, come on, man.
Not even Baby Yoda. It's okay. Because we're going to do all of our work on the phone. Okay?
A quick thing about women reaching out to you via text, right?
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
If she reach out to you, you have to set another date. That's what that is. Like, this is after.
After the date.
This is after another date. If she reach out to you, you call and you set another date. She wants to see you again. That's what that means, fellas. So, when we talk about no texting and getting off the phone real quick, that's what we're talking about. She wants to see you. Let her see you with you. Like, don't give her all this information over the phone. Let her get to know you in person and get to build. Because you can't touch somebody over the phone. You can't look anybody in their eye and get a sense of you can't build chemistry. So no matter how much she wants to make, like he said, make you her male gay boyfriend, don't do it. You're not developing a friendship over the phone. Eventually, it will get to that way if you decide to get into a relationship. But this phone shit is very critical to stay away from. These pitfalls. These are pitfalls that we're trying to keep you from getting trapped in. Because if you do this the wrong way, and Wesley knows this from personal experience, from saying, "Hey, I'm just building rapport. Guys,
don't." Let me give you something really, really important, fellas. And if you take nothing away from this podcast, remember this one thing. Women want to feel like they're figuring out a guy, like they're figuring out a mystery.
Yes, a puzzle.
A puzzle, if you will, a mystery. Never, and this is what I want you guys to remember, never rob a woman of being able to decode you. They desire this, God, they desire this like plants desire sunlight. Like women want to decode you. Never rob them of the experience of figuring out on their own, on their time. If you sit there and vomit at the mouth and just give them your life story, they have figured out nothing. Now you're not a mystery. Now you're not, quite frankly, guys, you're not sexy to them anymore. So, guys.
You know how true that is, what you said? Because we watched 90 Day Fiancé. The Russian chick, remember all her friends was asking her all these deep questions about him? Mm-hmm. And she had no clue. She was like, well, I really don't know him.
Right.
But she was in love with this guy.
Yeah.
She was in love with this guy.
By the way, sidebar to this. I cannot wait for you to, because usually you and I have like a routine as best friends. We do the podcast and then we go watch 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you haven't seen the newest episode. I can't wait. Spoiler alert, that Russian chick is batshit crazy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
She was my favorite one.
I know. And she was the sweetest, most generous thing.
Damn.
And she goes batshit crazy like that, dude. It is insane, man. By the way, if you're not watching 90 Day Fiancé, it's the greatest train wreck you've ever seen. And talk about, like, when you look, Anthony and I are basically borderline obsessed with relationships between the genders and the human species.
Yes.
And this is the greatest petri dish that's on television, man. It is so, so good. So watch 90 Day Fiancé if you haven't. But all of this stuff leading up. And, of course, guys, you have the unique experience of listening to a Navy guy and an Army guy on this podcast. Shout out Navy, who just beat Army in the Army-Navy game last weekend when we were podcasting. Congrats.
Midshipman.
Congrats to your boys, by the way. But, guys, I want to point out that we are deep 2 hours into this podcast, and we haven't even gone on the date yet. Okay? That's how much preparation I want you guys to do.
Well, this is the hard part. This is the hardest part.
It's the hardest part.
Because the rest of the date is going to flow.
Because you've set up this other shit.
Everything else is going to fall in place.
Exactly.
Because after you figure out which machines you're going to go to, the lifting part is going to be easy.
Exactly.
Because you already know. Say, okay, once you say I got to hit my shoulders, I got to hit my biceps, I got to hit my triceps and my forearms. Now you're just focusing on each muscle and doing your reps. Because you've been on these dates already. You've been on these dates already.
When you show up to the gym to work your workout regimen,
muscle memory.
You don't have to do any thinking. You just you've already got your plan. I'm going to hit the bench press. I'm going to hit this. You did that before you got to the gym. If you were trying to set your workout when you showed up to the gym, oh my God. It would be, first of all, you'd never get strong. You'd never get buff. None of this shit. You have to set this up before, guys.
I usually have to say, okay, what's my regimen if I have to wait for a machine?
Shit. By the way, that's the next level move. I like that.
Am I going to do push-ups? Am I going to do sit-up? What exercise am I going to do in between waiting for a machine? So,
Right. And then sometimes you'll obsess over what order I go in, right?
Yeah.
But we've given you guys some good stuff on setting the date. Now, let's get to the date.
All right.
Anthony.
Fun part.
Yeah. So, again, guys, we have to revisit. Dating is hang out, have fun, hook up. It's light. Okay? It's light. We're not going to talk about Trump getting impeached. We're not going to talk about, your mother and your father are getting divorced.
What
We're not.
What if
it's light?
What if she touches on it? What if she brings?
Well, give me an example so we can help our listeners because now this is where I live because I still work in sales.
Okay.
So I mean, you almost cannot catch me off guard.
Yeah.
Communicating with humans, you know, and that's how you and I met. We were both in sales. So give me a for instance, like roll one at me.
So she's like, man, let's say you're eating, right? And she's like, oh, hey, have you been keeping up with this impeachment? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on it, though? Like,
I don't know. Here's my thoughts. I'm at dinner with a beautiful woman, and I don't want to think about this right now.
Man, see, he's smooth, and he's not even out here.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you maintain, like you said, if it's in your head to stay away from things that's heavy, because you don't know her political views.
Nope.
Right?
And by the way, don't care.
And
don't care.
If you say something that, let's say you're even trying to be funny, you could be offensive to her, right? And now if you say something offensive, she don't want to sleep with you now.
Right. And it's just, you're going down. Can I ask you, I'll ask all our listeners a question, and I want you to really ask yourself honestly. Have you ever talked about politics with someone, and then after the conversation was over, your immediate reaction was, now that was fun. You know what I'm saying? Talking about politics is not fun.
Right.
It's not fun, man. You know, if you want to talk about, we were talking about earlier tonight, Cardi B.
Yeah.
And some of her shenanigans that she...
Right.
It's fun. You know, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that. That's crazy. Oh, my God. But talking about politics, I mean, politics is draining. You know, talking about your parents or your family issues is draining. Listen, man, this girl is not your psychiatrist.
No.
This girl is just wanting to have fun. Okay? She's wanting to hang out, have fun, hook up. Those are your three objectives on this mission that you sat here and put together.
And she's
hang out, have fun, hook up.
And women want to have sex just as much as men, so the hook up part is not offensive.
Well, women want to have sex once you've seduced them.
Yeah. And
you ain't going to seduce nobody talking about Trump impeachments.
No.
Okay? No. That is not the way. You and guys, if you are not in sales like Anthony and I were, I want you to understand you've got a little bit of a blind spot. I talk to people for a living. It is really hard to catch me sleeping because I go to this gym of exchanging ideas every day for a living. Let's say you're an IT guy and you talk to almost no one all day. Recognize you're not sharp at this. So here's what I want you to do. You're still good. You're still good. I want you to sit down and I want you to write down some shit you can talk about. Now, Anthony, I know you're going to go somewhere here in a second, which is going to give them some real brilliance. I love your take on this, but I'll give you guys a for instance. Now, this isn't about dating, but social media for me, so that I am the business expert of my company. I'm director of sales of the company I work for. And to make myself a subject matter expert, part of that for me is I go on LinkedIn and I write articles, or I will share stories and give my opinion on business stories. But I'm not, like, I gave myself some hacks. I have this email that's sent to me, and I'll give a plug to them right now. It's called The Hustle. Go ahead and Google it. It's The Hustle. And they give you it's just this email that I get that gives you interesting business topics. Real time. The one that I got today was about how these little Power Wheels cars for kids, car companies have gotten smart about branding them. Like, you can get a Mercedes car for a little kid now. Now, if it's a $400 car, you know how much money Mercedes gets? like $10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's very, very little.
Okay.
But they looked at it long term. They were like, yeah, but we're now
This
in the
kid-
head of a 5-year-old kid.
Right.
This is the same thing McDonald's did with Ronald McDonald. You know, so it's very interesting. They're marketing their cars to kids.
Right.
And Jeep is part of it, and Ford is part of it. They get very, very little money, but it's a marketing program that they literally make money on.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool. So you posted an article about that.
I immediately went to like, oh my God, this is genius, because this kid is going to always remember my Mercedes,
Or my
Jeep,
Ford F-150 or my Jeep.
when I was a kid. Yeah. And it's going to be in photos.
Now, I look like a genius when I post this shit on LinkedIn, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're right. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But no. I went out and I looked for a resource, The Hustle. Okay. And again, use this, guys. Very, very interesting business stories. So if you're not good at talking on a date, what I want you to do is find yourself a little hack like that. What's fun stuff you can talk about? What's a resource you can go to? Be prepared, guys. Be prepared. I want you to prepare. If you're not good with, like me, this is the one area of life I can absolutely wing it. I have that level of confidence. Like, man, when I meet somebody that can beat me sparring verbally, it's like I'm not even mad. I'm just fucking impressed. I'm like, God damn, it's taken a lot of years to meet the likes of yo ass. I'm actually enjoying this. You know what I mean? But if you don't have that ability, make sure you have that plan too. Planning in the date.
I always, because I love learning, so it's easy for me to, open a book or look at something that I don't know much about and try to figure it out and see, because I want to be successful, so I look at successful people and see what books they're reading, right? Like, they became successful. Success didn't lay in their lap and get cozy with them. They had to work for it, and they had to figure out some things on their own, right? And figure out what niches that they fit in to make money, whatever, right? So when I'm on dates, sometimes the things I just learned I'm talking about. And it's interesting because they see my eyes light up when I talk about it. So they, in turn light up. They were like, well, that's interesting, And let's say they're an expert in it. And then I'm talking about something that they're actually good, that they're actually into, And like you said, you had a resource that you just shared with everyone. You're like, hey, check this out. When I was in marketing, I would always do that. That's all I did. I was always researching, looking for obscure, out of the box, different things on how to make money without money, right? And because we always hear people saying it takes money to make money. Well, sometimes, they said time is money. So things that you do in your own time, that is a currency. Yeah. So, money is a tool, and it's a word, It's not an actual thing that you can accumulate and find. There's a tree that had fucking, you cut a tree open and there was money in it. No. Yeah. There's shit that you do in your life that you can that to obtain money. But anyway, another fucking topic.
Well, I want to point out something you were doing just now.
What's that?
Okay, and this is going to be a huge help for people on dates. And guys, if you're not a social person and you're writing shit down to talk about on the date, all right. We talk about human behavioral studies a lot on this show. Yeah. Right? One of the real intuitions that human beings have, because again, back long ago, there was life and death was counting on this, okay? Humans are constantly trying to figure out if people are genuine. Because long ago, when we were all tribal and we negotiated things, we had to be very certain, like, is this tribe going to come take over our tribe? And, right. So we have a real sixth sense as a species, humans do, when people are being genuine. And I want our listeners to think to a time where someone was saying something and they knew they were lying. Think about the feeling you had. It's not a good feeling. It's just like, whoa, man, your opinion of this person immediately just like turns. Like, humans want to know that what you're saying you believe, even if you're wrong. Even if you're wrong, they can respect. I'm looking in that person's eyes. They believe it. So when you were just talking just now, you were talking about shit. Like, I could just kind of feel like an energy changing. Like, man, when I was in marketing, I would look up at this, and I'm just a person that likes learning stuff. And it kind of gave me this feeling as I'm listening to you. I'm kind of having this feeling like, man, well, hold on, man. I like learning shit too. Hold on, this is fun, you know. But I'm saying, but when someone is like genuinely passionate about shit, it gets people kind of fired up. So when you're writing down your list, guys, if you're writing down things you want to talk about on the date because you're having some anxiety, you got to talk about shit you believe in. Now, even if you're an IT guy and you want to talk about IT broadly,
very broadly.
Please,
yeah,
broadly.
Keep it broadly.
Don't come down to DOS language and shit. But if you wanted to say something, like if you're an IT guy, you know, and you wanted to say something like, God, my career is exciting, man. You know, information technology is probably become the most important industry on this planet. And it's exciting to be part of it. It's exciting to be part of the most important thing that's taking place on planet Earth right now. And every time I go into work, I don't know, I can't forget it. And I get fired up about it. And like automatically, you're just like, well, the person like hearing about your job is like, well, fuck, man, that's a good fucking point. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to believe it.
And we talked about this before the show a little bit, how dancing in your conversation as far as drawing in somebody when you're talking about something that you love and that you're passionate about, they see it upon you, and when they see it, they get drawn into you, right?
Well, I don't want to rob the audience of that.
Okay.
So, Anthony, will you go into that real quick? We were doing a lot of this in the pre-show. You were talking a lot about how you tempo your conversation, how you react to things. I want our listeners to have the benefit of hearing that, because you had a lot of good stuff in there.
So what I was explaining is that when you're discussing your life or you're discussing a topic, like especially that you're passionate about, you typically go into a heightened level of conversation where your eyes are kind of dancing back and forth, that your focus is high intensity, and where you almost are demanding their attention when you're focused. Normally, when someone's teaching a topic, normally you can hear like their voice projects louder, right? And you can, if you look in a room in a professor's classroom, you could tell the intensity of people listening to this professor as he's divulging information, right? And it could be fucking boring shit, but the way he's projecting his voice, he is commanding your attention. So when you do this, you're purposely doing this, but you're also relaxing immediately after that, right? Because you want to show there's a contrast between your passions and things that you care about, and versus just a regular conversation. And they can see a side of you that they didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And then they can say, well, he got very animated in that. How can I get to see that more? And when we do, and this is almost like a reward. Like, I purposely know this, that I'm rewarding the woman with my time and my animations, because especially if she's enjoying my conversation, I'm rewarding her with that, right? Because they want our time, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So when we give them that is a reward when we do. If she doesn't deserve it, then you don't give it to her. Right. You stay at and she has to do things to earn your time to pull that out of you. So you only give hints of it and let her know that there is another side of you that she hasn't uncovered yet. What we said, maintain mystery.
And do not rob a woman of
interpreting you.
Of interpreting you and figuring you out. Do not rob them of that, guys.
Right.
Don't become an open book. Give them parts of your life. But when we were talking on the phone earlier today and talking during the pre-show, you were telling me like the way you would communicate during the date too, where you would change your tempo of communication from fast to slow.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like would you go into that a little bit too for our listeners, because I think it's really important. Now, the reason I'm setting this up too, so I used to be a sports commentator in Austin, and I immediately became very aware of how speech and language can become very musical. Yes. And when you were talking about changing your tempo in your communication, in your language and things like this, and guys, again, this is a little bit higher level dating stuff, okay, guys? But it's something I want you guys to become aware of, okay? And when you change the tempo from fast to slow, from passionate to aloof, and you're kind of all over the place, what you're doing is you're really putting together like a symphony of yourself.
Yep.
Does that make sense? They're getting to see the passionate you, the aloof you, the older brother who picks on his little sister you. They're seeing all these things. So, Anthony, go into that a little bit for our listeners. You were talking about how you react to certain questions and, changing up tempos and stuff like that. I won't go into it too much, but go ahead.
So, as I can talk fast sometimes if I'm really into what I'm talking about. So, sometimes when in conversation, you slow down your tempo. If she asks you a question, you go into a pause where you're not on command. Like when she's asking you a question, you're like, this.
Eager. Like eager, like, overzealous.
Like I can't wait to talk about myself about
my turn.
Right.
My turn.
Right.
like the person in the classroom. Like when you were in school, right, and they're raising, ooh.
They always have an answer for everything, right? So sometimes I don't answer. Sometimes I even don't answer questions. Sometimes I just stay in silence, and that's a change in tempo, right? And then she may think
huge change in tempo.
She may think she did something wrong there, right? Or asked something offensive. But again, with this up and down, in and out, you're kind of waffling your conversation because you're keeping her off tilter where there's no predictable pattern about you. You're keeping yourself unpredictable, mysterious, and kind of wanting to know, well, why is he not answering my question right away? Like, was that a hard question? Like, if she asked, she was like, well, what's your middle name? And I'm like, really don't give out my middle name to people like that. Like, and now she's like,
what is he?
What the fuck is his middle name?
Or
CIA.
I think you were the one telling me like, so they ask a question that's very direct. It's not a yes or a no. It's a very direct question, and just answering with a smile and then
nothing. Yep.
Yeah. This is seduction, guys. And you can't skip seduction. And don't worry, guys. I know this sounds like a lot when it comes to communication. We want to throw this out to you now because as you get more experience,
it'll make sense.
Much sense. Yes. It'll make a lot more sense, okay? You can't, guys. Anthony and I talked about this today as we were working on the show. You cannot skip seduction. You can't, guys. We were talking about it at the beginning of this show. Like, look, man, I don't want to play any games, man. I don't want to. I'm done with the games. It's like, no, dude. Humans aren't done with games. You have to properly seduce a woman. Okay? So we're on the date, Anthony. We've given them a lot of fuel for on the date. Now we're escalating to the hookup stage.
Oh, that's the fun part.
Here we go. So we have planned the date accordingly. So now we're going to do a trial close. Okay? We're going to do a trial close. I'll never forget with my wife, the first trial close I did on her was, hey, you know what? It's loud in here. Let's go back to my place. We'll hang out by the pool. And I've got this amazing Moscato that you have to try. My wife doesn't even like to drink. And she's like, man, Moscato sounds amazing. But the seduction had escalated to that point. By the way, we never even went to the pool. Okay? But she needed to have some plausible deniability.
Right.
I'm not just some hoe that's going over to his place. We're going there for a reason. He's got a
pool
planned reason. I had this all set up prior. We're going to go get some Moscato. The Moscato was never opened. We never went and sat by the pool.
Don't make up. Look.
But the Moscato and the pool were available.
Yes, I just want to make sure the guys that don't, even if you're knowing that this is gonna happen or not gonna happen, if you get there and she's genuinely wanting that Moscato to help her loosen up and stay in that mode, and you don't have it.
Yeah, guys.
Now you look.
As we pointed out many times, this is not manipulation.
Right.
And guys, the minute you start manipulating people, again, we just hit this. Humans are very good at finding out when other people are disingenuous.
Right.
And as soon as they find out they're disingenuous, they don't fucking like it.
Because you lied or you misrepresented something small.
Right.
And now they can't trust you the way they were trusting you before. So
I'll never forget, they were talking about during the Cuban Missile Crisis, all right, in the United States. They were talking about, oh my God, we found a Russian submarine in the Gulf of Mexico. And then someone said, like, well, I mean, geez, the Gulf of Mexico is huge. It's only one submarine. It's like, motherfucker, we ain't worried about one submarine. We're worried that if there's one there, how many fucking subs are there, right?
No shit.
Same shit. If you're disingenuous about some fucking Moscato and a pool, what the fuck else are you disingenuous about?
Right.
So you never want to, again, if you plan your date down to the nines, when the Moscato's there, you're not lying. You're not lying. It's just that the seduction part went to such a high level, we never got to the wine. Right? Now,
I just wanted to point that out to guys that.
Oh, 100. No, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
100%. Now we're going to get to the place Anthony and I talked about earlier. Now we're going to be beat up for this because people are not going to listen to our entire 3-hour podcast where we've built up to this point, but they're going to pull out some sound bites and make us look like rapists and shit. Guys, no means no for now.
Yeah.
Okay? When the seduction process is rising, you may go to grab her ass or touch her titty or go for a kiss or whatever, and she's like, hey, not ready for that. Not ready for that. Guys, that does not mean you go into the fucking fetal position and shut it down. Well, never mind. I bought you Red Lobster. What the fuck? No, man. No, man. Seduction is a process. You went a little early. Okay? So she means no for now. Okay? So keep going. Keep going. Whatever y'all are doing.
Well, how do you take, I mean, it's a form of rejection. So what do you do, or do you say anything? Do you bring it up to, like, hey?
I want guys to feel like I feel. So let me tell you how I feel. Motherfucker, she's on my couch at my place. This is gonna go down at some point, either on this date or in the future. That's how I feel. That's my level of confidence, okay? And that's the level of confidence I want our fellas out there to have. She just ain't... right now, it's 11:36 at night. She just ain't ready for me to go down on her at 11:36. Things will change at 11:42 at night, okay? Because the seduction process is going to move further. The last thing... here's what young Wesley did. Well, she doesn't want me to go down on her vagina. I'm going to be a gentleman, and I'm going to respect her because she's one of the good girls, and I won't make a move for the rest of the night. Guys, that's stupid. Don't do this. Anthony, I know you've done this before, too. You're like, I want to respect her. Motherfucker, you're not disrespecting her by initiating sex. It's what humans do, motherfucker. Yeah. Jesus. You have been taught all this bullshit by society. Like, she's one of the good girls. Good girls like to have sex, too.
I've been on several dates, right? I've been on dates where, like, when we talk about she's not ready right now. Mm-hmm. So I got shut down. Like, she hit my hand, shut me down, right? Because we were making out for a while, and I'm like, something got to come off. Fuck this. Like,
talking about clothing wise.
Yes. I'm losing panties. Something. So she had on jeans, and I'm rubbing her stomach, right? And then I go for the button of the jeans.
Yeah.
She let me undo the button. I get to the zipper. She lets me unzip.
All right.
As soon as I put my hand inside the panties, pop, right?
Well, I almost wonder she wanted you to go over the panties first. That was like the next stage. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, I've been rubbing on everything.
Like underneath everything so far.
I'm ready, bro. Like, we've been making out so long. I'm like, why aren't we at this point yet, right? So I'm thinking maybe she's on her period, right?
Now, was it a playful slap or like a violent slap?
It was playful. It was a playful pop, but then she picked my hand up, out, and away from her, right?
Oh, okay.
So that is...
Now, is this blue pill Anthony or red pill Anthony?
It's red pill.
Oh, okay. Now this is way more interesting to me now.
So at this point, I'm like, okay. I'm looking at the time, right? And I said, hey, let's slow up a little bit. I think things are getting a little heated, right? Things are getting a little heated, right? I don't want you to think that's all I'm over here for, right? So I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. So listen. Listen, man. Listen. I walk back out. She is no jeans.
Oh.
No panties.
Oh.
She still had a bra on, which was weird, but she still had a bra on. And
so she was a little insecure about how her breasts laid.
I'm not sure. Maybe. I think so. Maybe because she's an older chick. So she's an older chick, so she maybe was. But we get to, I'm like, well, the party started without me. I was like, but She saw that I responded in a way that I didn't get upset about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to remember, like, women understand that they are the weaker gender.
Physically. And they can easily be overpowered.
Right.
That's what I want our listeners to understand. No means no for now. Make them comfortable with being able to say no. Yeah. And once they've told you no like 3 times, a lot of our listeners will be like, man, she shut me down 3 times. Maybe. But a big part of it, too, is now she has the confidence that if she gets to any place where she feels uncomfortable 3 times, she has figured out, once I say no, this guy shuts it down. But then he's going to come back later.
Yeah.
He's going to come back later.
You're still there. She hasn't asked you to leave, nothing.
Yeah, so but you can still say no. So she's now got confidence like, oh, okay, cool. As long as I say no, we can pause and we can stop.
And we talk about this, right? This is not a conscious effort she's doing. She's not doing this consciously. It's like,
she just wants to feel safe.
I'm going to stop him on purpose and see what he does and see if I'll go for it. She doesn't know. She's in the mood. She's in the mood just like you. She's getting caught up in the what is it? The lust.
Right.
She's caught up in it. So, and like you said, plausible deniability. She wants to be able to say that it just happened, right?
Yeah, and it also, I want our fellas here to recognize that some women also love the drama of like, no, I can't, I shouldn't,
right?
But I want to, but I shouldn't.
As she's pulling her panties down, she's like, I shouldn't do this.
This is some women, yeah. But fellas, what I want you to understand: no means no for now. No always does mean no. It just means no for now. And if you give women the comfort, of being able to say no, then this gives them a lot of confidence. This gives them a lot of confidence that they can say no. They can pump the brakes whenever they want. Guys, this is a good thing. This is always going to be good for you. Okay? Always allow them to say no, but always allow them to know also the date's not over. Okay? There's more to this. Here's what I want our listeners to understand. The worst thing you can do is get butthurt in this situation. You don't want to get butthurt and retreat. You got to be like, okay, I went to, how about this, Anthony? I went to go look at my brisket in the oven. It's not done. Close the oven door. Come back in a little while. The brisket's not done now, but it could be done later.
Yeah.
Now, what a lot of men will make the mistake, and they'll go 2 extreme knee-jerk reactions. They'll go, okay, she doesn't want to do anything tonight. I need to respect her. She's one of the good ones. She would never do anything like this. So then, and they think that they're getting some sort of, excuse me, they think they're getting some sort of like points for this. You're not. Guys, stop. You're not. You're not getting any kind of points. You will get points for them being able to say no, and you respect no.
Right.
The other extreme is the guy that gets butthurt. Man, I took you out on this date. Bitch, I spent some money on your ass. I can't believe this shit. You know, those are our 2 extremes. Guys, stay centered. Please. Stay in your masculine frame. And don't worry. Don't worry about the outcome. Anthony, you had a great advice about dating, talking about being in the moment. Share that with our listeners because it's so good, because this will keep our listeners out of a lot of trouble if they can follow your advice in this vein?
So, a lot of times I talk about being present and being when you're able to be present. What I mean by that is that you're able to take in your environment. You're able to be relaxed, because we talked about this, and this is why we say what we say. This is why you go on these repetitive dates and you make this muscle memory for your brain. Your breathing is important. You have slow breaths, right? You're relaxed. Your heart rate is down. Everything is calm about you, right? So when you're in this moment, you're able to be intently focused, like on purpose. You're able to take in the colors around you, the smells, the space, and the sounds. This gives you, I mean, believe it or not, this gives you a aura of confidence about you, because this is so second nature to you that you're able to recognize things that other people are not able to, because you're such. That's like almost being, when Neo finally was able to slow down and the bullets was coming at him, and he was just like,
in the Matrix,
everything just slowed down for him, and he was like, and he didn't even realize it though. He was like, that was like his first time when he was like, whoa, like I can slow myself down. And they was like, man, you were fast.
You move like them.
Yeah. And then he was like, well, not exactly. He still didn't know. Right, and this is when if you're transitioning to the red pill and you're learning these concepts. Some of these things are gonna happen on accident, right? And you're not gonna know why you were successful. And this is what we're saying. When you always hear talking about people, are you getting lucky tonight? He was like, yeah, I hope so. That's because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
So you lucked yourself up upon some pussy. You lucked yourself up upon a kiss or a successful date, whatever you see or deem successful, right? Because just like you said, you have a plan. That plan is in your head, and you're going to move forward in your plan no matter what happens throughout this date. Shit test. We talk about shit test. Coming late to a date is a shit test.
Well, 100%.
And trust me, fellas, you need to harp on that shit. If she shows up late to the date and you haven't left, and she arrived, you let her know that shit is unacceptable. Period.
That's advanced level shit. But I don't want to leave this thing you brought up about being in the moment.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a date, and I want to talk about this in specifics. So one of Anthony's great on date strategies that I fucking love, and I'll be honest, I never incorporated this into my dating, but I wish I would have. You're very much like observing the environment you're in. If you're talking about that with your date, like if something with the decor, you're like, God, I'm noticing they put a lot of work into the decor here. I mean, this is very detailed. This is nice, right? And you're making a genuine, not disingenuous, but a genuine observation. It kind of it gets people in this different energy, that because there's this thing like we're on our phones and technology and work and life is so fast paced. It's I don't know. It's a breath of fresh air to people when you can slow down and observe the environment. What I also like about this strategy, Anthony, is it keeps you out of like deep conversation where you're turning your date into the therapist. To me, your whole thing about observing the environment and talking about it, that is the antithesis. I'm sorry. That is the, I don't know why I said antithesis. That is like the real spirit of hang out, have fun, hook up. I loved it. When we were doing, because, you and I typically do pre-show throughout the week.
Yeah.
And you talked about that this week when we were on the phone. And I was like, man, I wish I would have added that to my dating game when I was dating. Like, God, you're just looking around. I don't know, man. It's just fun. It's fun when you're in an environment and someone observes something that maybe you didn't observe.
Right.
It's just fucking fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just fucking fun. Or someone's noticing something about the decor. True story, to support your point. Mm-hmm. Last Friday, we were at St. Arnold's here in Houston. It's a brewery and also a beer garden. And we were in the room, and in the room, each little booth area has its own art piece. And I was explaining to them, because we sat in this area, and we read the plaques on every art piece that's in there. And some people just fucking ignore it. And I have no idea why, because a lot of thought was put into it. The one that we sat in was the story of St. Arnold. And the reason St. Arnold is like the patron saint of beer is because there's a story about people praying because they were running out of water, and they were praying over this. They were praying to St. Arnold over this little thing of beer, and it was a miracle, supposedly. There was a miracle that they would drink from this little thing of beer, and it kept refilling with beer, and it kept them from dying of thirst. Because they were praying to St. Arnold. And then there was a painting in this whole area of this booth, and it was done. It was
sounds like somebody made a religion to keep drinking.
right. Yeah, and no matter what your religion is, that's a fun story, right?
Yeah.
And they had a painting. They painted the entire booth to represent it. And so
you remembered it, so
exactly. So we were in a different booth, and there was a this was painted in the way of this is what beer looks like under a microscope, and the artist did it that way. It was just really, really interesting. But we were observing it, and supposedly there was a fetus of a baby painted into it, but it was hidden, and we never found it. But it was this cool experience of like, whenever someone new came up to the table, they were then looking for the fetus that's like hidden in the painting that's all around us. And it's just fucking fun. It's fun, man.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And you are bringing a whole other experience to what you're doing. And that's free. You have to spend any extra money.
Doesn't cost shit, does it?
Right.
Nope.
And all you're doing is using your fucking senses.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is to see if that person is in tune with themselves or have a depthness about them that they can enjoy something like that. Or are they really shallow? Now, listen. We're dating, right? And we're saying we're having fun and hanging out and hooking up. She can be dumb as a fucking doornail, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to judge her on this. I can just, okay, she's not going to be in a relationship. Let's say she can't appreciate art, right?
Right.
Then fine. It is what it is. If she's hot enough for me to date her, then I'm probably still going to want to have sex, right? I'm not going to stop the seduction at that moment. I'm still going to hang out, have fun, and hook up. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to, how can I say, punish myself.
Right.
I'm not going to make this all serious into, well, this girl has no brains in her head.
Yeah, but Anthony, to be fair though, it did not seem like you were going down that lane at all.
Okay.
It seemed like you were just like, wow, look at the environment around us, talking about the environment around you, really allowing yourself to take everything in.
Yeah.
It just sounds fun. You know what I mean?
Typically,
and I'm sure you also do this like with the food and with the drink.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean,
easy.
It just sounds fun, man.
That's what's called being in the moment, man, and you enjoying the process of every part of the date.
I forgot about this, Anthony. I forgot about this. Fucking gold nugget shit you and I had preparing for the show this week. Enjoying the process. Guys, nothing in life that's worth that's worth like being excited about having comes easy. You know, whenever you're working out and you're trying to become whenever you're trying to become like this buff guy, what are you going to do? Are you going to be like miserable every day until you fucking become buff? No matter where you start from. No, enjoy the process of like, hey, I don't look like Mr. Universe today, but I will someday. And I'm not going to be down on myself the entire time until I become. No, because I know I'm on the path.
Yeah.
Okay? When you have taken control of your dating life by listening to this podcast and planning out your shit, you may not have the best date this upcoming weekend, but you're getting a lot closer to getting this shit down. You know, I became very good at dating, but also I worked in sales for a lot of years.
So it became natural to you.
So on the date was a lot easier for me, but the planning of the date and the asking of the date and stuff like that, it was a little bit of a learning curve. But guys, it's enjoy the process. Understand every time you make a mistake during this process, you're getting a little bit closer to perfecting this. Anthony and I are not some sort of weird Dalai Lamas of dating.
No.
We're giving you this information because we fucked up a lot.
Right.
And by the way,
lost out on a lot of pussy.
Yes. And by the way, I would put this out there. Anthony was the one that brought me to the red pill, brought me to all this information. And I'm here to tell you, Anthony would get very frustrated with me at times. I'm not even bullshitting. There was one time where I was kind of bragging that I knew what the rules of this game were, and I was kind of bragging like, yeah, I skipped over it. And I know I skipped over it. And you got so frustrated with me. You were like, well, motherfucker, you know what to do and you're not doing it, and you think that's funny? Or like I was a very slow study at first, man.
Well, it's again, man, coming to the red pill is not something that you lackadaisically do, right? There's something that drives you to it, and it forces you to change a lot of your mental or easily thought of thoughts when it comes to. Because think about it, man. A lot of men out here are just fucking winging this shit, man. Yeah. And they are just like blindly flying out here when it comes to women.
Anthony, there's a lot at stake, especially if you have a child with these chicks out here. There's a lot at stake. If you just kind of wing it and you don't know what you're doing, which is what most people are doing, right?
Yeah. 97% of them.
That makes me sad, man. No, I'm serious. That makes me sad. Where people just kind of end up in life. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. It makes me sad. I hope that this podcast helps some people.
Oh yeah, man. If you haven't learned anything tonight, you wasn't listening, and even if you are well seasoned, it's good to get a refresher, man. It's
100%.
And hear it from the words from someone else, and understand that there are people out here that are able to successfully date and successfully be able to go through, like we speak about the 3% being 3%, man, about the techniques and the strategies to dating, because 2019 dating is totally different from any other decade than you used to. So if you're out here new and you're trying to figure out how to date, man, you follow some of these techniques, and I promise you'll have a lot more success. I promise you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I haven't even gone back and listened to this yet. I'm already very proud of this work. I'm serious. We came in with a really organized approach to Dating 101 down here at Navigation Studios. proud of this, Anthony. I think we helped some people tonight.
Good. I look forward to you guys replying, asking questions, leaving comments, emailing us at
redpillphonetap@gmail.com. redpillphonetap@gmail.com.
Look for us on
Please like and
Instagram.
subscribe. And guys, we appreciate you stopping by at Navigation Studios for the Red Pill Phone Tap.
Peace.